Welcome to the consumers. My name is Greg Warren. This is the Frito episode. We have a lot of Fritos there, but before we get to that, I want to talk to my co-host, Tim Convey. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Sean O'Brien.
Greg.
Good to see you guys. Tim, you had a big weekend.
We did, yeah. We did the punk rock Christmas shows this weekend. So
Yes.
It was Saturday, the 2 shows over at the pageant here in St. Louis, and it was the best. We had a great time.
Now, the punk rock Christmas is sort of a super group, right? Basically,
yeah, it's guys from a bunch of bands that kind of started in St. Louis, but it's myself from Ludo, my guy Moon, who's in the band Goldfinger. He was in Story of the Year and Greek Fire. Some of the other Greek Fire guys, and then Will from Title Volume. So yeah, it's a good crew.
When they say super group, that really just means you're pulling somebody from different bands, right?
I mean, super group
doesn't mean that they're necessarily extraordinary.
I mean, I think some of the first super groups, it was a little more like all these big chart.
What's the first super
I would
group?
say we're like a St. Louis super group.
Okay, what is an example of a super group?
Randy, you played in a few super groups, didn't you?
Asia, I believe, was a super group.
Were they made up of guys?
They were made up of guys from other bands. Yeah.
Crosby, Stills, and Nash. That's what I think of. When I think of super group.
Okay, because
they were all in other things,
and Young too, right? They were all in different stuff.
Yes, but I think Crosby, Stills, and Young was in and out.
And then there was, remember the 90s, there was like that Pearl Jam, Alice in Chains, Soundgarden.
You're right. 90s grunge had so many. Those guys were constantly collaborating, mostly because they were all in Seattle. But yeah, Temple of the Dog.
That's it. Temple of the
was
Dog.
One. And then there was another one where the Stone Temple Pilots guy. There was just a ton of them back then. It was pretty cool. But yeah, Crosby, Stills, and Nash is the big one I think of.
Okay, I saw them. Maybe my maybe my first concert. I don't know. My mom and I went to the Muni and saw Crosby, Stills, and Nash.
Really?
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
It's pretty
cool.
And
you know the groups they were in?
No.
David Crosby was in the Byrds.
Okay. Stephen Stills.
Graham Nash was in the Hollies.
Oh, wow.
And Stephen Stills was in Buffalo Springfield.
Wow. Oh, that is big. And Neil Young was in
the Neil Young Project.
Okay.
Well, you know, Neil Young was in a band with Rick James.
There's
really
Randy.
Isn't that crazy?
That's Randy. Randy, who you kind of heard off microphone. Randy's our producer for now. Had a bit of a rough week last week. Randy, you want to explain yourself?
I had a little snafu with the uploading of the episode. It didn't process properly. I apologize. It won't happen again. Won't happen again.
We're just messing with you, man. Randy's.
I know you guys. Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Thanks
if you
for
missed
being
the episode, the episode went up on YouTube on time.
This is Domino's we're talking about.
4 a.m. Central Time.
Yep.
On Tuesday, and then didn't show up on other podcast servers, where people listen to podcasts, until it took a while for word to get around, and then later that day it did. But you got it up.
I think it's we can thank our listeners, especially the people in the consumers Facebook group.
Yeah.
They were. I should have looked at it earlier, but we've got processes in place now. This is just not going to happen.
Which now that's going to be the new. They're going to find their new joke for that. Like we had the little hiccup with what episode we're on. So that's like a running joke. In the group.
Yeah.
Now it's going to be like, oh, what time's the show going to load? Midnight.
Yeah.
I think we might get hit there, which is great because it is that little chat room is hilarious.
Yes.
I love it. I love reading it. Have a good time there. It's fun.
And Randy owned it. It'd be a real easy thing to be like, technical difficult. I mean, there's so many things to actually getting the thing up, and he owned it.
It's kind of a lesson that you could take from Randy, Sean, when you screw something up, you can just sort of say, yes, this is a thing that I did wrong, rather than go on the attack.
Yeah, man, I just don't surrender. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I know you go outward at people when you mess up as if they screwed up. It's it'd be a lesson you could take from Randy. I'd like you to learn that lesson.
Hey, man, let's say this though. You and I, great weekend for Greg and I.
Almost. Yeah.
I mean, okay, I thought perfect. No problems.
Definitely not no problems.
We're skipping on Pike Place. We're holding hands.
We had some good times, man. We went to Seattle, Tacoma to be
Seattle.
more exact, but we did spend some time in Seattle. And we'll gloss over the one glaring event, but Sean had some good shows. I thought I had some good shows. Met a lot of cool consumers people at the shows.
Shout out Ray. She came out.
Oh,
Brenna,
Ray's awesome. Yeah.
Ray from Alaska Airlines. She was there.
Yeah.
Brenna, I met a Lovely, lovely person named Brenna. And she was very nice. Big fan. Yeah, a lot of fans.
Yeah,
man.
man.
Lot of fans.
Yeah,
Very cool.
Really cool club. We had we had an incident on that wasn't what I was talking about, but yeah, we had an incident on the way back on the plane. There was just somebody started shouting, "Help! Help! Help!" I don't know what happened.
Whoa.
Yeah. Okay. So you were ahead of me and I was behind you. And then this incident happened. There was basically, they said, a medical emergency. So you see just like 2 flight attendants running. And then obviously all heads are just kind of pivoting, look, whoever, it's behind us. So we're looking back and, everyone's just like, whoa, I've never seen this. So then everyone's just kind of standing up, kind of around the center where it's happening. So you're like, okay, something's obviously wrong. And then when the flight attendant gets on the horn and goes, is there any medical personnel on the plane with credentials?
Yeah, you got to show your credentials.
Which I thought that was kind of interesting because is anyone faking it? Is my point. Is somebody like, you know what? I'm a plumber.
Yeah.
Now's the time to shine.
Yeah, no, there's just some guy that just shows up like, sir, when you have your lab coat on, obviously you were looking to do this. Yeah, the guy shows up. He's got like a stethoscope and a lab coat. I'm like, you're not a real doctor.
Wow, because I've had that happen before, but they didn't say credentials. That's amazing.
I know. I just
thought,
thought like, that'd be interesting if it's like I at that point I'm like, I don't even care, man. If you work at Arby's and you want to come over and start doing CPR, do it. It's better than nothing because we're not getting this bird down for another 15 minutes anyway.
Well, how about what if they make a call for it and then no one shows up and they go, okay, even if you don't have credentials.
At this point, we'll take anybody.
If you forgot your credentials or you just want to give this thing a shot, we're really in
they're
trouble
used to
here.
Because they always they go different levels. Like, do you want to give up your seat for $500?
Yep.
Do you want to give it up for $700? Can you help us with credentials?
Yep.
Okay, we're not getting any takers. What if you don't have credentials? All right. What if you just you're good with your hands?
Yep.
Is there something there? That's an excellent observation, Tim.
So what happened?
So it seemed to calm down. Like it didn't seem like it was like it certainly wasn't like, oh, we got to stop at the nearest city. It wasn't anything of that. So I don't know. It was like 20 minutes of kind of like whatever, and I don't know everything to see.
So you don't know what happened?
Did you ever find
No,
out what
I
happened?
don't. But I don't think like it was like they weren't rushing. Like when we landed, it wasn't like, hey, everyone stay in your seats. We got to get paramedics on the plane to get this person out.
Right.
Is what I'm saying. So my guess is everyone.
I got off the plane, and then Sean. I had to go to the bathroom or something, so I didn't see Sean, and then I didn't see him for a while, and then I was like, it didn't occur to me like that could have been Sean that had the medical issue. Like I really, because he's always got something medically wrong with him.
True.
And I literally was like, and then I saw him, right? I had to call him for something or whatever. But I didn't see him for a minute. I'm like, oh no, man, I should have checked to see if it was Sean.
Okay, that's why you called. Is that what you called?
I can't remember what
you called. You're like, hey man, we're in gate like C20, right? And I'm like,
but that because you were asking me what gate we were at when we were in the first place in Seattle.
Yes.
You're texting me what gate.
Yes.
I'm like, dude, you can walk around the airport and look at signs.
I know it was time sensitive, and I thought it was gonna be a Home Alone moment where I had to sprint because he is pre-check, I don't, and Seattle's insane. Not to mention Taylor Swift was up in Vancouver.
Yeah,
and here's another thing. I guess if you go to if you live in the U.S. and you want to see Taylor Swift in Vancouver, the rules are you just fly to Seattle. It's just that much cheaper. I mean, it must be substantially cheaper because we went to pick up a rental car, 2-hour wait to pick up the rental car.
To get our rental car.
And everyone's driving up 3 hours to Vancouver.
Yeah, just a bunch of like kids with Taylor Swift.
Did you trade bracelets while you were in line?
Yeah, I got.
I gave him a salmon shirt.
Good.
I was like, I think it's a fair deal.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. We had one a few weeks ago, medical, but it was low blood pressure. So everything was fine because one of the guy right in front of me went and
on the airplane.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'm surprised you didn't chat up the people.
Low blood pressure.
Yeah, that's all it was.
Okay.
So it was no big deal.
Oh, I was thinking low blood sugar because I've had that before. But
No, listen.
I have actually. I was like, I need a Coca-Cola right now. Like somebody give me some sugar.
So what did that mean? They'd have to check their blood pressure to know they have low blood pressure?
I guess so.
Well, honestly, they probably knew.
To be completely honest, as we're sitting here saying this and hearing him say that, Maybe I misunderstood.
Yeah,
I'm
it could've
gonna
been sugar.
go.
Yeah.
Because I've had low blood sugar, but I'm not diabetic. If a diabetic has low blood sugar, it's
Right.
pretty serious.
It's
stuff.
very serious.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
But that could just be a normal. It could have been that. It could have been blood pressure as well. I'm sure they've got a thing on the plane.
Is there a situation where maybe they were?
That said, they didn't ask for credentialed people, so this really could have
Yeah.
been anything.
That's true.
Maybe that was it because you might have misheard. You said with
It's possible.
Were they in boxing robes and they had a fight and somebody took a low blow? Could it have been that?
That could have been.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, that's
There's a bell.
there was a bell.
Yeah.
Okay, and a referee.
Yes.
Well, see, you should have known.
Guy with a mustache. Yeah, you're right.
Okay. Yeah. Mills Lane. Is that
Mills-
It
was that-
Mills Lane there.
Knew he looked familiar,
Yeah.
and I couldn't
no,
place
that was
it.
Mills Lane. Man. And
man.
Mills Lane will call a low blow.
Sure.
Yeah, he's not going to let that
Tough
happen.
but fair in the ring.
He's very, very tough and very fair.
Man.
Did you have a catchphrase? Was it
Mm,
"Let's get it on" or something?
Mills Lane might have said, "Let's get it on."
I think you might be right.
And
You kinda
who
like
else
that
said,
high
"Let's
voice?
get it on"?
Barry White.
I thought
Or was
so.
it Marvin?
Marvin
Gaye?
Gaye.
Marvin Gaye. said
Man,
it. Yeah.
I go to you on these music
I know.
things. I thought Marvin Gaye, but I was like, let me just hand it to Tim because he's our musician.
I know,
He's in
Barry-
a super group,
I know.
and you fumbled, man.
I know. I'm sure
Well,
Barry
he's had
White.
a tough weekend,
Listen,
man. He was in the zone for 2 nights.
Yeah.
Or
I
2
should have
shows.
known too because Barry White didn't need to say it. Marvin Gaye said it.
Okay,
Yeah.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I blew it. I'm sorry. Speaking of that, I listen to a lot of Sirius radio, which I shouldn't as a person with a career in terrestrial radio, but I do,
yeah.
and they have the dedicated channels, right? So I listen a ton to the Tom Petty channel.
You discovered the Tom Petty channel on My Sirius.
Oh yeah, and it made me get serious.
Yeah, you loved it so much, man. I kind of became more of a fan of Tom Petty.
He's top 5 for me of all time. So I listen
Yeah.
a ton to that one. Oddly enough, I listen to the Fish one. But there's a lot of there's a U2 dedicated channel.
Think I don't know this?
For sure, you know this.
Yeah, I've played that before.
But a lot of these artists, aren't like super active. Some of them no longer with us, so they're trying to program it like a regular radio station where they're doing like, you're not gonna believe what's going on tonight. And the U2 one, they can be like, oh, U2's at the Sphere, so here's what we're doing. The Chili Peppers are on tour. Here's what we're doing for that channel. I listened to the Beatles one on the way here, and right before I got in the car, they go, welcome back. It's the Beatles channel. Today we're counting down the top 10 Beatles songs that mention articles of clothing. That is what they're doing.
Yeah. Well, once you've
And then she was real excited about it. She's
Yeah.
like, he talks about a hat in this one.
Yeah.
Up next, Ringo mentions the bracelet.
yeah.
So under that logic, they have more than 10 songs that they talk about clothing. Because you think we're
Yeah.
going to
It's the
talk
top
about
10. Yeah,
the
yeah.
top
Yeah.
10 about clothing,
Yeah.
not
only
the
that,
top 20.
but the staff sat around a table and was like, no, man, I think get back. I mean, they're talking about it. It's a jacket and a hat. That's a pretty big deal.
What are some of the Beatles songs that mention?
I don't know. So in A Day in the Life is the one I heard, and in the bridge
Oh,
of
I
A Day
love
in the
that
Life,
song.
it's grab my coat and grab my hat,
Yeah.
made the bus. And
That is
second
such a
slap.
great tune, man.
And there's Sweet Loretta in Get Back. There's something about what is it? I don't know.
Yeah.
I haven't paid too much attention to it.
They're going
honestly,
to,
until
and the
that
thing
moment.
is, I guess if you have a Beatles station, you're going to have to figure out new ways to parse up the songs.
Yeah.
Next question would be like, the top 7 songs of the Beatles where they mention scarves. You know, like they're
Yeah,
gonna-
they have to get it even more.
Narrow it down.
Yep.
Um,
I enjoyed it though.
that's good.
I'll be tuning into the rest of that countdown later. I'll
Yeah.
let you guys know.
Yeah, and was it? I think there's Christmas. I need to get on my serious a little bit. There's like several Christmas. Yeah.
Stations on
right?
there,
Yeah.
for sure.
I can't remember where I was where I was like, okay, maybe it was in the hotel that we were staying in, Sean. There was a lot of Christmas music playing. I think
There was a
Is
lot
where
of
I started hearing the Christmas music.
Yeah.
I like it.
Good. I do
like it a
too.
lot. Yeah.
Love it.
I'm a big fan.
Especially regular speed. Now that Punk Rock Christmas is over, I can listen to regular speed.
Yeah, I got to say, my
Christmas
nephews Tommy and Dean, and my sister-in-law Jara went to Tim's concert, and she sent me a video. It was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
and those guys were loving it.
We had fun. We do a 3:00 family show, so lots of little kids, which is a different vibe in there, but it's fun. We got a bunch of costumes. There's a company called Johnny Brock's, and we get a bunch of Christmas costumes and stuff from them. And it's kind of last minute what we decide to do. And Moon, he's the co-front man of this band with me, he's like, "Oh yeah, I've got this great idea." So at one point during the show, I go and slip into a Frosty the Snowman costume and run up to the balcony while Moon and the guys, I didn't know this was happening, play a really cool metal version of Carol the Bells. Do you know that song? It's
No.
what Trans-Siberian Orchestra does. It's bum ba da dum ba ba
Yeah,
ba
yeah,
ba 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 ba.
okay.
So they're just rocking, looking really cool. It ends and he goes, and now here's Tim. And it's me in a several sizes too small Frosty the Snowman costume up in the balcony to lead us sing along while they all look super, super cool.
I don't know.
Okay.
Man. What's not cool about a snowman?
You guys, I'll show you the picture.
Okay. Yeah.
But it got some laughs.
Why did it just look ridiculous?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? They're up there looking incredible, just jamming, finger tapping, all this stuff.
And
And,
then
it's
you're
like, and I'm like, hey guys, it's me.
Yeah.
It was cool though.
Yeah. Rock and roll, man.
People enjoy. Yeah,
Right.
that's part of rock. Everybody knows it. The costumes, it's part of the game.
Yeah.
If you're gonna get into the game, you got to be willing to play the game.
You guys have any friends that just, there's like an awkward pause and they'll just say, rock and roll, man.
I know a couple of those.
John
guys.
Dukes Donovan, he used to say that. He was a comic, funny guy from Houston, where I started. And the Dukes, man, if something was like, there's a quiet moment, he'd just go, rock and roll, man.
Love it, man. Just a cooler way.
Good.
It's cooler than saying I hear you.
Yeah.
I feel like that's all
Yeah.
you're really saying. You know?
But I didn't even say, I hear you is usually a response to something. This is just something to fill the void.
Oh,
yeah,
you know?
I see
Just
what
like
you're
there's a
saying.
silence, an awkward silence, and he goes, rock and roll. You know what I say when there's an awkward silence?
What?
Let's
Smooth jazz. Yeah, I say smooth jazz.
It's good.
you
It's
should bring it
different.
back, man. You should just keep that. You should
I
be
was
part of
gonna
the
do
show.
that. I was gonna do that as a bit one time. I was gonna try it. I think I was gonna do it on TV, the rock and roll smooth jazz bit or something. And remember Scott, the bartender at the Funny Bone? He told me that he thought Craig Ferguson did something similar.
Mm.
And I just don't think he did. I don't know. I remember looking at it, but I was like, I'm just gonna stay away from it.
Yeah.
Sometimes you definitely want people to tell you. You definitely
sure.
you definitely want people to tell you because like you don't want to look stupid. You don't want to take somebody's stuff. But sometimes people will be like my friend Dan, one of my great friends, Dan. One time I was like, hey, this guy's doing your thing on Frog bit or whatever. And I was like, he just mentioned something about fog.
Yeah.
Like, it's not
People do that a lot.
Oh, it's all the time.
Yeah. I'm like, no, man, he didn't touch my thing. But
It's awful close, man.
yeah.
Talked about.
I have
ketchup.
it with the
You talk about
the
ketchup.
salmon shirt thing because there's like something in Friends where there's a scene in the show Friends
Mhm.
where it's like pink shirt, salmon shirt, and I've met a few
Right.
people, and so I was like, what? I was like, first off, that show's so big, I would have been put on trial years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I actually looked at it online. I'm like, that is nowhere
Nothing the same.
near
Yeah,
the
yeah,
context. Like,
Yeah.
it's exactly what we're talking about.
And the
Like,
punchline on yours is the
It's completely- I mean,
smallmouth bass is the really funny part of it.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. How many T-shirts did you sell this weekend?
it was probably 40, 45.
My God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were cooking out there, man.
I
Yeah.
gotta
In
get
Tacoma.
new shirts for 25.
Yeah,
Starting
man.
with our weekend. I don't know what to get.
Well,
I might
maybe
just
maybe
load
we'll,
up on some salmon.
maybe we'll just get some. Yeah, you can sell salmon shirts.
cut me a deal. Oh, is there a
Yeah,
wholesale
man, you can
price
be
I
like,
can get?
well, what do we talk about on this podcast? What did our guy at Duncan invent?
Franchise.
Franchises.
Yeah.
Sean, you and I will work up a little franchising agreement with Tim.
I don't know why he's cutting himself in here, Sean.
Yeah. Well,
I haven't. I didn't say I was going to charge a fee.
Okay.
What I'm trying to do is I would work up the agreement. Do you want him to do the paperwork on it?
Yeah, I do. Because I have a feeling that'll be advantageous to me.
There's nothing going to happen. Sean, we reconfirmed this week that he has an extremely hard time locating refrigerators in hotels. Like this is the second time. And you know, I've known him for a long time and I'm around him all the time. So I sort of just know sometimes where he's like, yeah, there's no refrigerator in my room. I'm like, well, there's one in my room. He's like, there's none in mine. I'm like, we've been through this exactly before where you get to the third day and you're like, you know what? I found it. So it was like 3 days in and he was like, I'll bet you $100. There's no refrigerator. And I go, well, mine's under the TV. He goes, hold on. There was a refrigerator, right?
yeah, but I mean, if you look at how there's two dresser drawers and then The third looks like a dresser drawer.
Yeah, that's how they are.
Oh,
That's how they're in there.
I mean,
there's
they're
just-
not.
there's
They're
just
not in the
only
last 6 months that I've been staying at.
There's
hotels,
just
so.
only so many places you can look. Like it would take about like I'm gonna actually commit to something for 2 minutes, and I'm gonna just try to find every place in the hotel that there could be a refrigerator.
Yeah.
But after 45 seconds, you're like, no, I'm not seeing it.
That is right. I decided I'd see it. You're saying that I said it wasn't in there. I did not say. We were specifically at lunch, and I was like, yeah, it's probably in there, and I'm missing it. I was like, I just can't find it.
Do you not remember saying?
I remember saying, I'll give $100 if somebody can find it.
I remember you saying,
But-
I'll
but
bet
there's
$100. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think it was a give. But regardless, I found it. It took 48 hours, but we got those Fijis cold just the way I like it. So
Yeah.
Fiji water, guys.
Fiji's up there.
Oh, I love it, man. It's my favorite. I don't know why we're not talking about Fiji water.
Love
We should
Fiji
do
water.
a Fiji and a Fiji part 2.
We'll get to Fiji after we do Evian because I like Evian and I don't like Fiji.
You don't like
I
Fiji.
do not like Fiji.
He's just being a contrarian with me. He has
I'm
no
not.
problem with it. It's
No,
all
I
in his
don't.
head.
I think there's like an oily taste to it. I don't care for it. It's like the fifth water that I would want. I would like Ice Mountain. I would like
Oh, it's fine.
that way before. I mean, Evian's what I like. But we're burying the lead here. I mean, how'd you get to Fiji?
You bought it for me.
I bought it.
That's why I said we had a perfect weekend. So I don't know what you're talking about. I'm all sour.
Really?
It was a perfect 0 to
You
100.
have no idea what I'm talking about.
I have no idea what you're talking about. That's why I'm like, you're like, well, maybe we'll
Fine.
talk about it. I just don't know.
Flipping out at the airport yesterday, just completely
Oh,
losing your like flipping out at the airport, like
Yeah,
completely
man.
losing your mind.
Yeah, who cares?
I do.
know. That's what I do.
What
I'm
happened?
not gonna ever change.
What happened?
I don't want to tag my own bag. I don't have time for these games. I go, I'll tip them. They tag the bag. I had 2 bags. they
Outside
tag.
the airport? You're one of those.
Well,
two?
no.
Yeah, that's what he does, the
Outside is
sky
the
cap.
best. The
Yeah.
sky cap. It
That's
is
what
the
you do.
best.
He doesn't
Nope.
know how to do the inside.
I just don't do it. I've never done it.
So I was like doing it, and he's like, "No, I don't do this. They work for me." Or so, like he's screaming, and I'm like, "Listen, dude, I'm gonna take care of this.
No, I don't work
I
for
do
them.
this. I can do this in my sleep. Okay, like I do it every day." And then he's like, "I'll just go up there." I'm like, "You can't go up there. That's just where you give them the bags. You want to have them do it. You have to stand in line for literally an hour at that point to get them to check in." And I was like, just take it easy. And then he's like, this is me. This is who I am. This is who I am. If you don't want me to come on the road with you, then fine. And I was like, you're making it real hard for me to say that I don't.
I would have been able to make that guy check in. That's what he doesn't know. But I get my way in those situations where Greg doesn't. So I promise you that guy would have checked my bag because he acts like I don't travel alone. That's the problem. He's like, I've never done this before.
Well, how
really
did you?
think?
But you asked me for your help.
Can I just clarify the whole scene here?
Yeah, of course.
You normally do SkyCap. That's the thing outside where you literally just go, here you go, and they take care of everything. Boom, here's your boarding pass, good to go.
That is correct.
You do the self-check, here's the thing, and they tell you, hey, put this thing on your bag and go show the person really quickly,
Yeah.
give them the bag.
Yeah.
And all you've got to put on there is what? Is it the sticker or fill out the thing?
No, you just you enter some information and then it spits out the bag tags and you got to put them on
The sticker.
And there's a little sticker that comes off the back that you keep as the receipt. And I've done this thousands of times,
Right.
man. And I was actually being cool. I was like, hey man, let me help you out with this. Like I wasn't being a jerk about it. And then then you start screaming about like they work for me or something. And I just was like, I was like,
You're
hey
such
man,
a liar.
I don't think
No,
he said
or
that.
I
what
didn't
did you say?
say
What
that.
did you
I
say?
I don't work for them. I'm not working
okay,
here.
that's complete. You're right. I did mess that up.
So, like, just tell. And also, this is what Greg does. You're not giving context, man. Also, understand it was the airport in Seattle, Tacoma is, I think, naturally crazy. It was extra crazy because of Taylor Swift people flying. Greg has pre-check. I do not. My line is going to be an hour and a half to 2 hours to get through security. His is 30 minutes. So I was all.
Mine's 5
Furthermore,
minutes.
please let me finish. Furthermore, he bought the plane ticket, so I couldn't even check my own bag in because it was under
Actually, you
his
could.
name.
You
Well,
could.
I put in my own.
I know,
my
I know,
own
but
stuff.
the thing is, you could because once he goes on a companion fare with me.
Yeah.
So, but once you're on a companion fare, all you had to do, all I did was put in your confirmation code, which is different than mine. They give you your own confirmation code. All I did is put it in, and it's so you could have done the same thing I did. But I wasn't mad that you. I was like, let me help you out with that, and then you flipped out. You flipped out.
Yeah, but I didn't
And
flip
you
out
were-
on you.
You were kind of flipping out on me. You were kind of flipping out on everybody there, and I was like, I'm not going to be a part of this. And yeah.
So
And
why
you
couldn't
did,
he-
You did threaten to not want to work on the road with me anymore. if this is who I am,
Well,
if you
no,
don't like it, then
I just
don't
don't
bring me on
like
the
being
road.
told what to do. Like it's just there's a reason I get fired a lot and I don't have a lot of friends.
Yeah.
because people want me.
You don't get fired a lot, and you do have a ton of
I
friends.
do, but I am also like in that situation. He's known me 15 years. He should be like, all right, you know what? I'm just gonna walk away.
Yeah, why
I'm gonna
couldn't
let
he
him
just
deal with
do
it? He can't. He can't help it. He
asked me
has
to
to
help.
control him. No,
You asked me for
I
help.
was gonna go to the guy at the counter. I was gonna say, and Greg's like, he can't do it. I'm like, he will do it. I promise you, he will do it.
You were going to go to the same guy where you drop yours off and
Where you
just
did-
be like,
all you
hey.
do is drop luggage off.
yeah.
Right.
And he's like, no, he won't print it. And I go, yeah, he will, because I've done it before. I've done it before. And I would have tipped him. I'd be like, listen, dude, here's $20. I'm in the weeds. I got a long wait. so-
Almost positive that a Southwest baggage person is not allowed to take tips.
Mm.
I'm almost positive it's not a sky cap. But okay, that's sort of why I didn't want to get into it, because I would just get angry. And
Wait, it sounded like
it's not a,
didn't you get into it?
huh?
Didn't you get into it, or did he bring it up?
No, I didn't. Oh, today?
Yeah.
Well, he brought it up. He brought it up like 10 minutes ago, and he's like, "Well, I don't want to." Because
Oh,
I
and
said,
then
I
you
said it was a
asked.
perfect weekend.
Okay.
But like
Yeah.
my brain, I was like, that didn't even
perfect
occur to
weekend.
me.
Yeah,
That didn't even occur to
That
me
is
that
just
was
a-
like.
yeah, it did occur to me.
So
But it's not a time to be angry. It's a happy time. We are talking about Fritos.
Yes.
we made
Yeah.
it, man.
I love
Pretty
Fritos.
excited about
Some of the
Fritos.
best.
Yeah, it's this is a difficult brand for me to talk about because I have to admit, I made my living. I made everything on a salted snack. If you can see where I'm pointing here, it's at Pringles. Like and these companies are enemies.
Mhm.
They don't care for each other. These guys were not good to me. Like they were sworn enemies. Yet they got a nice product.
It's a great
And I
product.
kind of told myself, well, hey, man, it's not like I'm eating Lay's because that's the real competitor with Pringles,
Yeah.
right? It's potato versus potato. But let's be honest, the bigger thing is the salted snack category.
Mhm.
So they were competitors. But I like Fritos. I've always liked Fritos.
That competition drove innovation and the American people over the winners. People all over the world, I should say.
It did to some degree, but they are a little like we're going to stomp out competition. Like they are predatory. In
Really?
some case. Yeah,
So
yeah.
this will be an interesting one then to
Yeah.
hear you kind of a bad taste in your mouth, so to speak.
Yeah, man, there's some stuff that they did. Like they came after Frito to Pringles with their stacks thing, and they had a stated objective, like we have to wipe out everybody.
Well, but that's the game, man.
I guess, man.
I
but,
don't. You can't tell me that when stuff came down at Procter and Gamble, it was like, we'd like to just take a little bit of their share. Let's get out there and like you guys. It's
Well,
that's
from
war.
my
You were going to
recollection,
war.
Nobody talked like that, if that's what you're saying.
Okay, but they didn't.
like to rule the world.
But that's what you're implying, that these guys are out there cutthroat and they're deadly and who knows what they're going to do. But over at P&G, we were warm and fuzzy.
We weren't warm and fuzzy, but I didn't care for some of their tactics. Is all
Okay.
I'm saying. I didn't care for.
I want to hear about it. We'll be the judge.
I don't even know if I want to celebrate this brand because I got to admit, as a consumer, this is one of my go-to snacks. I think it's
Yes.
outstanding. I think it's a great great snack. Charles Elmer Doolin, they call him CE for short. CE Doolin. He was
Chuck D.
Chucky D.
Chucky D. Yeah,
Chucky
I
D.
like that, Tim.
He was a Texas guy. His dad was an engineer, very bright guy. His dad did some innovative things with tires, and the family also had a confectionery. So where they make candy and they had ice cream and stuff where people would come just as a side business. And Charles was working there. It was in San Antonio, Texas, and there were these two companies that were in an ice cream war. It was Mistletoe Ice Cream and Dairyland. They were going at each other, and they got into a price war, and they started sort of cutting the quality of the ice cream. So the result was at the confectionery, they've got like substandard ice cream. It's not as creamy.
Mm-hmm.
And CE was like, man, we're at the mercy of these ice cream fights. I got to find some new snacks. Okay. So he looks in the paper and he saw an ad in the paper that says corn chip business for sale, a new food product, making good money, must sacrifice. So he went to this guy Gustavo Olguin, he had a recipe for these corn chips, and he had like 18 little retail accounts, and he sold them the business for $100.
Must sacrifice meaning
I think he wanted to go back to Mexico, and he needed money to go back to Mexico. So he just basically said, here you go, $100.
Like just make an offer almost type deal.
I think he said, I don't know how it went down, but I have a feeling it was like, I'll send you this. I'll give you $100 for it.
Wow.
Or, you get the price is $100. And he
Yeah.
was like, fine. And this was in the 1932 in the heart of the Great Depression.
Mhm.
So he bought them. CE. I still, when I eat these things, I call them Gustavo's.
You
just
do?
out of respect. Yeah,
Gustavo.
because Gustavo he got nothing but $100 for all this.
He's in Mexico though. He's doing all right.
Living it up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Probably not with us anymore. CE certainly isn't. He died in the early 60s, I believe.
Mm.
So he bought the recipe and he started making these in his mom's kitchen. Daisy Dean Stevenson Doolin and his dad and his brother Earl all helped out. And he took the 19 accounts and just started growing them. And they sort of perfected the recipe. I think his mom helped perfect the recipe. And the recipe was with a potato ricer was how Gustavo made them. And
What does that mean?
I don't know. My
Potato
guess is it's sort of a thing that cuts potatoes in very, very small pieces.
Mhm.
I would think.
Rice.
It's logical. I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And things started going well. They bought the house next door. Instead of building the factory, they're like, all right, let's just get it. Let's get the house next door.
Yeah.
And they started selling Fritos out of there. They opened plants in 1933 and 1934 in Tulsa and Dallas. So that's how, he bought it in 32. A year, 2 years later, he's got plants in Tulsa and Dallas. In 1938, they were featured at the Castle of Foods at the Texas State Fair.
Wow.
That sounds, if you're in the castle, you're doing well.
And Texas State Fair is the one that's like 4 months long.
I didn't know that. We should go to that if that's
It's I've been.
really.
Yeah.
What is it,
Really?
like all summer or something like that?
I believe so. Yes. And it is.
Where is it in
unbelievable.
Texas?
Dallas or outside Dallas.
Okay,
In that area. Yeah.
that sounds fun.
It's everything you picture about a state fair. It's that, but that much bigger.
Did you play there?
No.
You just went.
Why
Oh,
was
you were
I
dating a
there?
girl down there, weren't you?
Maybe. I don't
Yeah.
remember. I was, yeah. But I did
Uh,
that Texas State Fair. I ate some fried food. It was great, but just enormous and went on forever.
Yeah, everything in Texas, man.
Mm-hmm. I didn't see the castle though.
Fritos means little fried things.
Mm.
That's what the etymology of the word Frito means. Little fried things.
Little.
Means it in a different language? Is that
Yeah,
Spanish?
I think so.
Oh, Frito. Yeah, that makes sense. Like
Fritos.
Ito's the little. It means little. Yeah.
Yeah, little fried things. Yeah.
Can you guys speak any Spanish?
No, it's I speak less Spanish than anybody. It's unbelievable.
Nah, I got you beat.
Well, I just told you that Fritos means little fried things.
Yes,
So
I
we're
got-
tied.
I got that under
It's
my
just-
belt.
it's some-
It's embarrassing.
Yeah, no, I there's just a hard
What'd you
thing
take
to
in
do.
school?
Spanish 1.
Oh, well then I have an excuse.
Yeah, so
I took French.
Well, I did too, but I'm saying he's like, oh, it's unbelievable how little Spanish I
Oh no, I'm just saying. Like, I mean, I bombed
Well, you must.
mercifully. Like, it was horrible. Like, there was no Spanish 2 wasn't an option for me. They're like, man, you didn't even complete halfway Spanish 1. So
Yeah.
I just couldn't get it. But French is tough, man. French I thought was tough.
What class did you excel in?
I was really good with history, and nobody's gonna believe this, but English. I swear.
Well, I mean, you come up, you definitely have a vocabulary
I
that
do,
we
man.
didn't know about.
I believe
Well,
it.
yeah,
Yeah.
and Greg's got such a mercurial attitude, so it's like,
I've heard of that one.
I've heard of that
I'm
one.
familiar.
I like it though.
I'm familiar.
Yeah.
he's back, baby.
What do you got? Let us know. Mercurial. What do you got?
Mercurial.
What is it? Can you define it?
No, man, you guys got to work for it. You know, I'm not
No.
gonna.
No,
Oh,
no,
now I got
come
to give you
on.
the definition.
Yeah.
Yeah, if we call it out
Yeah,
as
Randy,
the
you
word of
wanna
the
do
day.
I got it. I
Help out
got
with
it.
that.
A person is subject to sudden or unpredictable changes of mood or mind.
Yeah.
So can you call an attitude mercurial?
I think so. Unpredictable.
Okay. I
Basically, it
like
just sounds
it.
like erratic behavior.
I think he used it correctly.
I liked it.
Certainly
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
And does it have to do with the planet Mercury? Or the
Yeah,
element
maybe-
or the
well,
element Mercury?
Let's not go overboard, man.
I bet it does. Maybe it has something to do with maybe because what's Mercury in retrograde? Isn't that like things are crazy or
I
whatever?
don't have that kind of time.
Really?
I don't know. People just say that.
They talk about it a
When
lot.
Mercury's in retrograde, it's like you never. Oh, so that makes sense because I really do believe that the whole thing when Mercury is in retrograde, people are like, anything could happen.
Anything could happen.
All
so
bets
it's
are off.
mercurial.
Volatile.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. Then the shoe fits.
And
Amazing.
if a fish has mercury in it, yeah,
All
you
bets
don't know.
are
Yeah,
off.
you
Yeah.
if
Could be
you
great.
You could get mercury poisoning.
could be great.
It
Could get
be just-
superpowers.
It could make. It could just. Yeah, you could
You could
actually
get
become
superpowers.
Fishman or
Yep.
something. Yeah.
Fishman.
He was the one who helped institute a store door delivery policy in which company salesmen stocking the products directly on the sale. So I've talked about this before. It's direct store delivery. So the guy that has the product, they don't just drop it off at the store or they don't drop it off the warehouse. They take it up to the store in their truck. The guy walks in with a big box and he actually puts them on the shelves. And
they invented it?
It says that he was one of the first to do it.
Wow.
Yeah.
This makes you angry.
It doesn't make me angry. It's just that, they took some liberties when they're in there all the time. They would, the dirt bags would like do stuff to your product.
Right.
Yeah. Or they would be like, hey, I had 3 facings of sour cream and onion. Now I've got 2. Who do you think did that?
No, Frito-Lay.
Yeah.
Chucky,
And I
Chucky
also
D.
talked about it. It was also, they had the ability to bribe a little bit more because they were in there all the time and they were like, hey man, here's some tickets to the baseball game. Mind if I put an extra display up over there?
Yeah.
Some backdoor deals there.
Yeah, that was going on. And I can't remember how much I've talked about this on this podcast, but that when I first got into sales, that was a big thing was baseball tickets.
Yeah.
And I would go to this one store, Continental Foods, and I would be like, hey, Pat, I want to talk to you about a really interesting idea here. It's how we can make more profit. He's like, yeah, profit. That's great. Got any baseball tickets? And
Yep, leverage, baby.
Don't
Got to do
have
leverage.
it. We don't do that. He tried to beat me up for baseball tickets. I think I got to respect him because he think I must have been holding out on those baseball tickets for like 2 years. Even with this guy, at some point, I'm going to crack him and tickets are just going to shoot out of his ears. Like I didn't have them. We just didn't have them.
Well, it sounds like at that point, Greg, even if you did have, it's almost like maybe I should just buy this guy.
I thought about that.
What if I just eat this $50 back, that whatever it would cost?
Part of me thought about that, but I think that I've always been sort of a rigid person where I was like, well, that's sort of cheating.
No.
Yeah.
What a Randy, did you know
You
that?
picking up on this,
This
Randy?
is crazy.
Well,
Randy,
maybe
have you picked up on this?
Listen,
Randy,
He
weigh
pays
in.
me, leave me out of this.
I mean, I just felt like, from a moral standpoint, and also like how good of a salesman if I got to bribe the guy. Like I'm supposed to try to be. I was learning at that point. I'm supposed to be trying to get better at sales.
I mean,
and my
I'd
company
say
doesn't want me to do that, so let's not do it. Let's just
part of that is getting better at sales.
I for somebody like you who's a slacker and takes shortcuts, yes, you're always going to see the angles.
Wow.
Yeah.
Randy, you picking up on any of that? The slacker shortcut thing? I'm not.
You're going to see the
Not at
angles.
all.
You're going to be like,
Tim,
this is how we get things
why
done.
is he taking
I
shots?
didn't do anything.
Yeah.
I didn't do anything. He's rigid and moral.
Hold on, Greg. One thing on that. So, did you ever do any sort of, all right, maybe not baseball tickets, but I will, where you would bend a little bit?
Yeah,
There
I think
had to
one time-
be one or two things.
One time
that
I
you're
remember David at Fiesta Marts. He had like this big charity. It was like the Houston Livestock and Rodeo Show is giant. It goes for I think 3 weeks, and I think it's the second biggest rodeo in the world. Might be the biggest. And he had something that he did with kids. And he wanted like muffins. We had Duncan Hines stuff. And he's like, yeah, we bake a bunch of stuff for the kids. We get some muffins or whatever. And can you just give me some muffin mix or whatever? And I was like, I didn't have a way to do it. So I was like, I just went and bought some muffin mix and gave him some muffin mix or something like that.
Oh, that's not
Yeah, that's not cutting corners. But I remember that was one time where I was like the first time like, this is sort of, and I mean, we were allowed to take guys to lunch and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But we just didn't do much of that.
Greg's like, no appetizers.
No, I mean, the thing is most grocery guys didn't want to go to lunch. Like they just
Yeah,
they just didn't have time for it. Every now and then I would do it, but they didn't care. They'd rather have those baseball tickets. Sorry, I called you a slacker, but I think sometimes you see the angles,
Yeah, that's a good thing.
He also had the idea for clip racks, which to put. You guys know what clip racks are? If you ever in the
Oh yeah, when they're like kind of
they're kind of hung down. Yeah,
hung down.
like almost like a paper clip on like a long strip, and then clips. Yeah, that was his idea.
I'll tell you what, that works.
Yeah,
I swear, man. I'm more, I'd be more prone to buying when it's just like that. It's like, it's right to just grab it off.
Yeah, I love those things.
Get the pop off. I like it.
And he did a lot of in-store stuff, like in-store signage, tear sheets that had like little Frito recipes. So it's like a little. You just tear off a packet. All stuff that I lived that, like all that. So we did some of that stuff too.
Yeah. He really didn't realize people were just going to be taking handfuls of them.
Of the tear sheets?
No, of Fritos. Like you said, it was all about here's some recipes, here's some whatever. That's really interesting.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm hearing. He was a health freak, and I think we're going to get into that a little bit later.
Mm-hmm.
But he was a health freak, so like he barely ate Fritos.
Yeah.
And when he talked about Fritos, people have 2 or 3. You know, they didn't. He didn't. I mean, he would be appalled probably. He was a follower of this guy that was some sort of. I can't remember the guy's name, but he was like a big health nut. And when he would bring Fritos home to his family,
Herbert Shelton.
Old Herb.
Herb ran for president in the Vegetarian Party in the 1950s.
How'd that work out for him?
He didn't win.
He did not win.
He didn't win. I don't know a lot about history.
I'm a big supporter of it.
The Vegetarian Party?
Yeah, they had a party.
I guess they don't know history after all.
So Herb ran for president.
Yeah.
And he
solid campaign.
I thought so. But no, so when he would bring Fritos home to his family, he wouldn't put them in the salt thing. He would like get them before they went in the salt.
You'd get them at the factory before they got salted.
Aha.
Yeah, and then he'd bring home these unsalted Fritos.
They were not into salt.
Yeah, Herb was against salt.
Yeah.
He was a lot of stuff that you hear about today. Like he was a big fasting guy too. Herb.
Mm-hmm.
You know who else was a disciple of Herb?
Gandhi.
Mahatma, that Gandhi.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, he was into the same thing.
Well, that's good stuff.
You know about Gandhi, right?
I know about him.
Yeah. Pretty good deal.
He could be a little mercurial himself.
I don't think he was mercurial.
Gandhi?
Yeah, I don't know if I would apply that.
People
either,
don't
Tim.
like to talk about it. But
You think he was all over the place?
yes. Oh,
He was a peaceful man. He was nonviolent.
Yeah, publicly, but
behind the curtains.
Behind the curtain, he's screaming at people.
you talk to Mrs. Gandhi and
Really?
then get back to
Just
me.
yelling?
Uh-huh.
This is blasphemy.
Complete
Real
monster.
I'm just saying, not quite as rigid as Greg.
This
Gandhi.
is
He saw the angles too.
He also he had like seasonal grocery store displays, such as a stuffed Frito Kid model that would rotate from store to store.
Oh.
Like so, the Frito Kid was he was the mascot, and they had like I guess a giant stuffed animal, the Frito Kid, and they put him up there.
Cool.
We did stuff like that when I had Sunny Delight. I found this program that like nobody else really knew about. And it was basically, you could get, if you ordered a certain amount of Sunny Delight to your store, I could get a giant, like, I don't know, 30-foot high Sunny Delight inflatable hot air balloon type thing. And
Wow.
yeah. And I would get, and people love that stuff. Like we weren't even giving away anything. They would just be like, oh, I got to get over there. There's a giant.
Yeah.
Sunny D.
Yeah. Anytime there's a giant anything,
Yes.
oversized anything, people are like something fun is going on there. But I remember because I was a kid, I was like in my 20s and I was partying on the weekends. And I remember this grocery manager called me up on a Saturday. He's like, you got to get down here. This Sunny Delight bottle blew off the roof or something. So I had to drive down.
No way.
Yeah.
Sunny D's biggest competitor, of course.
Tampico was their biggest competitor.
Purple Stuff.
Yeah, that's the commercial he's referring to. Yeah.
What am I missing?
You don't remember Purple Stuff? From the
Purple
Sunny D?
stuff.
The guy was going
Oh,
in, he's
yeah,
like,
yeah,
Purple
yeah,
Stuff.
yeah.
It
All
was
right.
so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys blew them out of the water, though. Purple Stuff didn't stand a chance with the
Nah, we
inflatables.
killed them.
Sunny D
I'll
is
tell
fun,
you though,
man.
down in Texas where I was, Tampico gave us a run for our money.
Tampico, solid product.
Yeah,
Well, neither.
cheap, crazy cheap compared to Sunny
Yeah, I
Delight.
imagine.
Yeah, I remember because Sunny D was very popular with Hispanic people. We did, and there's a lot of Hispanic people in Metro Houston, so we were killing it. And I remember I had a bunch of Sunny D in my my house. You know, I had like samples and all that stuff in my office in my house, and the movers came. I was moving apartments or something, and these guys, they were Hispanic, and man, I heard in the back, like, Sunny D. You guys take whatever you want, man. Those guys loved it, man.
That's like the Chappelle's got a bit. I'm gonna mess it up, but about like they didn't have juice. His family didn't have juice, and they go over to friends' house, because they would just drink like Sunny D and Purple Stuff or whatever. Somebody like, you want some juice? And he'd be like, "What is juice?" And I can't say it with all the
Chappelle inflections.
yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Oh, yeah,
or
Yeah.
Added
language,
words.
but
Yeah.
pretty strong.
Yeah. Sunny D, I think I've told you guys this story. We said it contained less than 5% juice. And
Brutal.
we had a giant, and I apologize to listeners because if they haven't heard it here, they've heard it on the Nateland podcast. But it's one of my favorite stories. In that we also had Citrus Hill, which was juice. It was 100% orange juice, and we did a lot of great things in the orange juice game that people copied to today.
Yeah, I remember the cartons.
Yeah. So, but when there was a freeze, when there was like a freeze or something, prices would just shoot up. So we had this big meeting. And they were talking about, man, there's a freeze. We're going to have to take the price up on orange juice and we got to get it up quick. And this is how we're going to do it. This is how we're going to communicate. It was like just everybody was there. And some guy raised his hands like, is this going to affect the price of Sunny Delight? And the guy goes, yeah. The one orange that we use for all of Sunny Delight. And I feel bad because I'm, but I think most people realize it's not orange juice.
Did it actually say less than 5% on the bottle?
It says less than 5%.
Which, from a marketing standpoint, wouldn't you go the other way? Be like, hey, at least we got 2%.
Yeah,
like
right.
Juice. I don't know. It's just funny. It's like you're basically saying it's not even 5.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's legally what they had to say.
Right.
Yeah, they legally
had to say it, right?
They just had that's the threshold, and they met that. Frito Kid was not the only mascot. There was the Munch-a Bunch. There was a comedian, W.C. Fritos.
You're right.
I don't remember that.
I remember that. Yeah, it was a W.C. Fields character
Fields,
that was like, he was W.C. Fritos.
Was he animated or just some guy?
I think it was an
Animated.
Yeah.
Strong.
Yeah, and then they got in some hot water. The Frito Bandito was a big deal for a few years, and it was very racially insensitive, and they did the right thing and killed the Frito Bandito. No, they got rid of the Frito Bandito.
Yeah.
But
well, he also was like the Frito Bandito had guns.
Yeah,
and would like shoot the bag open, just like stuff that you're marketing maybe to a younger audience, and like he's got like 245.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I could. See
I don't know if I hope I'm not stepping on a fun. Did the voice though?
A Frito Bandito?
No, a Frito. Yeah,
Who?
Mel Blanc.
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Bugs Bunny.
Bugs Bunny guy.
Yeah.
That's cool.
That's a true thing right there. So
man,
he was really into farming and sort of developed his own hybrid of corn at Frito Farms to come with the right stuff here. Like so, what did he do? He made a variety. Basically, he found the right mix of field corn and sweet corn.
Right.
And put them together to come up with the corn that you use for Fritos. And if you guys want to learn about field corn and sweet corn, I would recommend watching. There's some comedian has a comedy special called Where the Field Corn Grows. I'm not sure who that is.
On Hulu.
It's on Hulu. And that guy might be able to explain it to you.
Yeah. Exceptionally warm audience.
On that
special.
Tim, you did warm up for that?
Oh, was it? It was me.
Yeah, no.
The audience was hot right from the beginning. I couldn't remember. You're right. It wasn't me.
They were. Yeah.
Effective.
I should have got that guy for the first show of my last special, actually.
What is that supposed to mean? You did.
Yeah.
You didn't like they weren't warm enough?
No, it wasn't your fault. But that was
there's only so much I could do.
It was just not a hot audience. It was they wound up being great.
They were great.
But it was
they were great.
It was not a hot audience. I mean, and you did fantastic.
I gave it all I had.
Yeah. Shalafu.
So did Mark.
Shalafu couldn't get him hot either.
Yeah.
And it wasn't, this is weird with stand-up comedy because you'd be like, oh, you're just being they were thrilled to be there.
Totally.
They loved all the jokes.
Yeah.
There's just something that wasn't like it. I got them 20 minutes in. They're like they're loud but they were just very politely enjoying the show. For the first,
there's cameras in there. The vibe changed. So it's that's why,
But the second audience, like you had them from jump,
It was great.
I walked in there
second
and I was like,
audience.
Tim's got him,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
But no, I was kind of making fun of you, but honestly.
No, it was they were good. It's like you said, just a different.
They had a great time and they wound up being a very hot audience for the first 20. I'm glad I have the first 20 from the second show.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that I haven't looked at the tape yet, but I imagine that's what it's
gonna be great.
He did some cool stuff like the byproducts from corn and potatoes. He was making other snacks back then too. But the byproducts, he would use some of that to feed animals.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
like
good.
Stale chips, sesame hulls, corn stalks, ground mesquite trees, like which if you talk to some of the cows back then, they were stale chips.
Oh, I thought you were saying they were happy.
No, they didn't.
No, they weren't happy.
Just they would say, "Hey, these chips are a little stale."
Yeah. P&G
Yeah,
wouldn't do that. P&G was feeding them the good stuff.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they're feeding them at all. I think is a good thing.
Yeah. So I have something else in here. Oh yeah. They, at one point, he was a franchiser, and he started, like, hey, you can use my thing. And one of the guys that was one of his franchisees that basically ran the Southeast was anybody? Herman Lay.
Kane.
Oh, here we go.
Herman Kane.
Was that close? No.
I went Melville. Yours is better.
Kane. Was Herman Kane Godfather's Pizza?
Yeah, and then he was
in
into politics, and I think he passed away.
He did.
I think he did.
did.
Yeah. Anyways, Herman Lay, who
Here we go.
Yeah, and that's how they met. Is he was like,
yep.
and then at one point, I believe it was 1961, Frito and Lay merged to form Frito Lay. Later on, they were bought by PepsiCo, 1965.
Oh, that long ago they were in the Pepsi.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, they were in the Pepsi family. And as good as a network as he had for getting to the stores, Pepsi had a better one. And that's when they really went through the roof. The Pepsi had figured out how to get to the stores quicker and more efficiently. And then they started bringing Fritos and Lays, and that's when they took over the world.
I always figured that was one of those like 90s mergers. The Pepsi.
Yeah,
Frito-Lay.
same,
I had
man.
no idea.
It's been going on for a while.
Man.
Now, Pepsi bought some other stuff in the 90s. They bought Gatorade, I think, 90s.
Oh, you might be right.
Yeah, the Gatorade, what's the Quaker Foods? Quaker Foods owned Gatorade, and they bought Quaker Foods. So, like, this happened like in my lifetime, because I remember going to Cedar Rapids. You guys have both been there with me, right?
Love it.
And there's that, there's a Quaker plant that you can see downtown. And I remember when it was Quaker, and then now you go there, it's Pepsi. It says PepsiCo there. So, I brought some Fritos, guys. I thought maybe.
Yeah, you did, man.
Yeah, I thought maybe we'd give these a try.
Up.
I love them so
These
much.
are Fritos scoops. This is my favorite form of the Frito by a long shot.
Me too.
And I don't scoop anything with them. But these are awesome. These are the regular Fritos. And then I got some sort of niche ones. I think I'm going to try to be conscious about not eating on mic.
Yes.
We took
crunchy.
we took some heat from some of the people in the comment section about eating on mic. So, Tim, why don't you try one while I talk?
Great.
You can try that. Yeah. You can crunch. I don't care. Just don't talk. You can crunch.
So these are Fritos.
Nah, man. See, we just lost half our listeners. You got just food in your mouth. What do you think, man?
I love Fritos, man. They're great.
Yeah.
They're so good. And I do scoop. I dip, whether it's guac or chili.
Well,
I scoop.
I wanted to bring this to the listeners, and I wanted to bring it to you guys.
Whoa.
This is something I discovered, I don't know, about 15 years ago. It is the most decadent. It's not a good thing to be doing a lot of, but one time there were some semi-sweet morsels, and I just had them, and I was like, what if I put these semi-sweet morsels in a Frito scoop, okay, and ate it together. So I'm gonna try this with you guys. These are Ghirardelli chips, good chips, okay. Let's get about. I want you to try that, Sean.
All right, man.
Give me your honest.
So we're mixing, just so you know, we're mixing chocolate
chips. Yeah,
chocolate chips.
Yeah, these are a little darker, with a Frito scoop. Give it a little time, because it's sort of, there's a lot of things going on there. Tim, I want you to try this too.
Yep.
Okay. There you go. I probably, in retrospect, maybe would have used a
Not
smaller.
bad at all. I think we maybe one too many on the chocolate chips, though. It really overkilled the chip.
Let's try that, man.
But I see what's going on here. I definitely see what you're doing here, and
It's salty.
it's not bad.
Yeah.
It's great.
What do you think, man?
Amazing.
Yeah. You're more of a chocolate guy than Sean is. You're like me, but all right. I'm gonna take your advice. I'm gonna do this. You guys talk while I try this.
Yeah. So now you're just gonna do a couple, and this is What?
Man,
What do you guys think?
it's really good. Greg, I got to say, Greg is a culinary innovator. Yeah, he's rigid, but
He
this
is
great.
rigid,
And
but
then one
he
of
is-
my all-time favorites. This is unbelievable. I don't think we've talked about it on the podcast. At backstage at Zany's Nashville, it was one of those long days. We go back. There's all kinds of great stuff there. Greg takes full-blown KitKat bars, maybe in half, so maybe it's 2 sticks, dips them into the peanut butter. I don't need to tell you it was Jif. And then we're all just fine dining. KitKat.
Yeah, that was
with
better
Jif.
than this.
It was unbelievable.
That was better. The only this was good. The only mistake I think I made is these are 60% cacao,
Yeah.
so that's a little bitter.
Yeah.
I think I would go with the Nestle 46% is the semi-sweet. So I would go with that, and I think it would make it a little better. But yeah, that try that at home.
Yeah,
Take
but I
some-
see what you're doing, man. Yeah. It was not bad. It was not bad at all.
And then we have here, Tim, you want to try the honey barbecue twists. And then I don't think you eat dairy, so I won't give you the chili cheese.
Try taste.
Sean, you want to try chili
we'll
cheese?
get in there, man.
Okay. Tim, your thoughts on the honey twist?
I think it's fine. I'm still, the chocolate is still in there. So
Gotcha.
I'm mixing up. This isn't very Frito-y, right? It's a little bit of a different
I am
crunch.
with you.
Yeah.
I don't care for it as much.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a giant deal. It's fine. But yeah, I'd rather have regular Fritos.
Yeah.
See, I go the other way. I love it. It's my
Really?
without question, my favorite.
The honey twist?
Yeah, the honey twists are my favorite. And then these are great, but you need them with almost like in a nacho style. To me, these feel wrong a la carte. The chili cheese. Feel like this would be great if you put a bunch of other stuff like they were talking about earlier. You mix with the chili cheese. Is my thoughts.
Let me
So
try that.
just a little aggressive on flavor profile.
Have you ever melted some chocolate down and then dipped? I think that could be a good.
I have seen
that in
in candy stores chocolate covered Fritos where they do
Yeah.
that. But I kind of like it my way. I got to get you guys to semi-sweet. Promise me I'll come over to your house on Christmas Eve and we'll try that.
You have my word.
Okay. Good. Got to get Emma's take on that too. See what she thinks.
She's in.
Okay.
But
good.
I want to reiterate it, and I know my mouth was full. I had a hard time telling it. If you can get involved with KitKats and Jif peanut butter, it is a good
Right.
thing. It'll change your life.
Well, it might end it, but outside of that,
I think I
cholesterol, sugar, right?
Right.
yeah,
It will
this
change
is,
your
yeah,
life.
this is probably not. Yeah, I think I got Nate's sister Abigail on that.
Yeah.
She was hanging out that day. I think I got her going on that. That was a good one. Thanks for reminding me.
Oh, I brought it in. We started doing it on the radio show. I got a lot of people hip to it.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
There's a few other things here, but I think it might be more interesting to go to fun facts at
All
this
right.
point.
Let me clear out my mouth real quick.
Yeah. Sean, I guess I'm glad we got that thing out in the open about the
What's that, buddy?
mishap at the airport.
Oh yeah, no, it's all good, man. We're
It's not.
good.
I'm angry
It's-
about it.
No, you're not. You're a little sensitive, and I'm not, and I didn't even think about it. We're fine.
Yeah.
No, nothing to worry about. We're still very, very, very close friends, and that's what's
Yeah. No,
important,
we'll
buddy.
always be friends.
If you're just listening, they're hugging right now.
Yeah,
That's
and I gave him a
see
kiss
it.
on the cheek.
not true. It's not. None of that is true.
All right, let's do some fun facts. I haven't heard it, but
Fun facts.
78 RPM record was made in 1962 for the Frito-Lay Company to promote its Fritos snack food with a dedicated jingle called the Frito Twist. The disc's white paper label bears the Fritos logo on both sides. Side A plays the Frito Twist. Side B contains the instructional how to twist. The music for the Frito Twist was written by a guy named Yul Box, a Dallas-based composer, best known for his work in the Benji movies of the 1970s and 80s.
Well, how about that? Let me ask you this, Tim. How much money for Ludo to cover that next year?
Frito Twist?
Yeah.
You
can do that, right? Like
make
you did.
me an offer.
Okay.
See, I can negotiate with Sean. I'll do it. I'll do it all day. The Benji, by the way, that Benji thing is the story of the guy who wrote Benji and made the Benji movies is amazing.
Really?
He had this story, like nobody would buy it, no studios. I think it's the most successful independent film of all time, or it set some record. It changed the movie business.
It's independent film?
I believe so.
Wow, it seemed so much like a Disney.
Well-
I'm really stuttering.
No, you're doing great. Disney ended up buying it, the property. And so like the third or fourth one, Benji, what's the one?
Benji Goes Home.
Benji goes, give me one more.
Benji Goes to China.
It was, yes, that was it. It was Benji goes to China.
Benji Goes to Prison. No, that was Ernest.
Benji
Ernest,
saves Halloween?
Ernest goes to jail.
Yeah.
Benji goes to camp.
Yes.
I can't remember.
Benji, what was it? Whatever. That Disney ended up buying it, but I believe this guy started it himself, the Benji movies.
Now I'm thinking of the what are some of the Tyler Perry films?
Medea.
Yeah, Medea.
They
Medea
are the same as
Medea
the
went
Ernest
to
ones.
prison.
Yes.
Medea went the same places that Ernest went.
Yes.
Did Medea go to camp?
She must have.
I know Ernest went to camp.
Ernest went to camp. Ernest saved
Jail?
Christmas, Halloween, which was Scared Stupid. Medea Scared Stupid. You guys remember
No,
that one?
that was Ernest, wasn't it? No, that was Ernest.
I don't know.
No, that was Benji. It was Benji.
Benji was scared. Okay.
Benji scared stupid.
What if the three of them teamed up?
That would be
Made
great.
like
Medea, Benji, and
I think
Ernest?
Cable Guy got a couple of those in there too. It was Larry the Cable Guy, health inspector.
Yep.
And then did he go to prison?
Yeah.
He must
I-
have.
my-
Ernest goes to jail, right?
No, Larry
Well,
the Cable
Guy
Yeah.
Oh, Cable Guy.
went somewhere.
Yeah.
He did some
They
things.
all went to prison,
Oh.
I think.
Forgetting one. Anyway,
Cable Guy, I think health inspector.
Health inspector.
Health inspector made quite a bit of money.
that movie was that the one with
yeah, Bruce was in it, I think.
was Jenny McCarthy in that one? He did one with Jenny McCarthy.
I can't
Oh, man.
no, I don't know if that was it.
She co-starred in a Benji movie as well, if I'm not
Yeah.
strong. Guys, check them out. All right, more fun facts on Fritos. When Disneyland opened in 1955, this is good. Doolin asked to open a restaurant on site. He said, "Hey, I want to put a Frito restaurant on Disneyland." And as one might imagine, he did it, entirely devoted to Fritos. Originally located in Frontierland, Sean's favorite part of Disneyland,
You better believe it.
the restaurant featured a Mexican theme with the name Casa de Fritos, which of course translates, Sean, to
Oh, what was it? A House of Fritos.
See,
House
and you
of
said you
Fritos.
didn't
Just
speak
so
Spanish.
smart.
And
I
you
know.
said you flunked out.
Well,
I'd like to
look-
talk to that teacher because
Yeah.
that was perfect.
get her on the
Perfect.
phone.
Oh, she hated my guts.
What was her
Mrs.
name?
O'Connell.
You didn't even call her
Hated me.
Senorita?
Oh, man. I don't know what I could
Yeah,
see.
I had Madame Murphy.
Madame. Yeah, that's what
Murphy.
we had too.
Yeah, Madame
Madame
Murphy.
Hartnett for me.
We were really just jerks to Madame Murphy. Now that I think about it,
How many years of French did you have?
a lot.
Really?
I had 4 in high school, and I had 2 or 3 semesters in college.
You took college French?
Yeah, but I started over.
Oh, like you had never done it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
that
I'm
would
like,
be
this
easy.
guy's good.
Who sees the angles now?
Les jeux sont faits.
No.
Translation, the game is up. I'm quoting a movie that obviously you two didn't catch.
What movie?
Uh,
Is that an Ernest?
It's like a huge movie from the 80s. Nobody. I'm really like disappointed that both you whispered.
Just let us have it.
The game is up, and that is from Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Ed Rooney.
Oh, yeah.
The
So-
game is up.
He says like les jeux sont faits. Translation, the game is up. I'm quoting it from Ferris Bueller. Maybe he's wrong. Nobody got it.
No, it's good.
Let's move
I
on.
can't
We're
remember.
talking Benji. I don't think I'm out of line talking Ferris Bueller.
No, you're
No,
not on
you're,
the line at
you're
all.
not on a line at all, man.
You're doing
Thanks.
great. We
Doing
just
crap
didn't
trying to
know.
get in.
Where was I? Oh, yeah. So this is crazy. So Casa de Fritos was on Disneyland. It was a Frito restaurant on Disneyland. And guess what? Doritos were developed at Casa de Frito
Really?
in the early 1960s.
Really?
How wild is that?
Wow.
That's where they come up with them, right at
Wasn't aware of
Disneyland.
that. That's
At
bananas.
Disneyland in
Yep.
the restaurant?
Yep.
Um,
That's what the internet says.
I did some research, and it's really expensive and hard to try to get sales data on this stuff. Like I had it when I was at Procter and Gamble, I could just tell you, but like I can't tell you what sells. You can triangulate it a little bit, and when I say triangulate, it's not a pun because of Doritos, but I think Doritos is a giant seller. Like I think Doritos may outsell Lay's, or it's close.
Yeah, I think you're right.
If you combine Lay's, Ruffles, and Wavy Lay's, you're going to beat out Doritos. But Doritos is big.
Yep.
Much bigger
Yeah.
than Fritos.
Yep.
Doritos is a huge one.
Well, I mean, Taco Bell alone, don't they have like Dorito style, like specifically that brand?
They do
Randy's nodding over there. Randy, you can say what you want to say. Do you want to weigh in on the Taco Bell?
No, he's just agreeing with me, which I appreciate, Randy. So,
Okay.
Big-
yeah.
big Taco Bell guy.
Randy, are you not talking this episode because you screwed up the drop last time?
No, man, I was just nodding to reaffirm that, yeah, the Taco Bell definitely has a Doritos taco.
I'm just saying there's a zillion Taco Bells, and like, I'm just saying, I think that's
You're missing the point here.
all right. Nice talking to you guys.
I just don't think any of that adds up to what they're doing. I mean, grocery stores. They're selling.
No, I know, man. I was just using one little thing that they use. So, anyways, carry on, Tim.
Rock and roll, man.
Rock.
Frito pie. You guys, are you familiar with the Frito pie?
Yes.
This is a big deal. Also known as the walking taco, also known as the Texas straw hat, also known as the stomach grenade. It's the thing where, describe what it is. You
Basically, I mean, the traditional way to make it, I think, is you just cut open a Frito bag, pour some chili in there, and some cheese and some sour cream and some onions and some Prilosec. and
there it is.
And there you go. But I think, you can also you don't have to do it that way. You can just, it's basically, I think to me, it's basically adding chili
but
it's adding Fritos to chili.
Part of the idea is that it's in the bag, which is
which is kind of cool.
Stomach grenade.
Yeah, I'm sure, but they call White Castles belly bombers.
I know. But walking taco, that sounds, I want a walking taco.
Walking taco sounds awesome, but it's kind of a misnomer because it's like, you can walk with tacos anyway.
True.
like, it's not like if anything, this is less portable than a taco.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah. Tired of being chair bound with your taco?
I'm sorry, but I don't agree with the term walking taco.
Yeah, I agree. It's awesome though. It sounds
semi-mobile taco.
Yeah.
Or it's actually semi-mobile chili is what they should call it.
Yeah,
walking chili maybe
Walking
is what
you
should call it. Walking chili.
Walking taco.
Because chili's the thing
awesome.
the thing you got to sort of sit down to eat, but now you don't have to sit down.
Right. You're right. But walking taco sounds
But you still have got to have a fork.
Yeah. People fight over who made the whole thing up. New Mexicans have claimed that it was started by Teresa Hernandez at a Woolworth in Santa Fe in the 1960s, and it was really a stripped-down form of the dish, only featuring chili and the Fritos. However, Houstonia magazine notes that Doolin's daughter, Kalita Doolin, shuts down the story in her book, Frito Pie, Stories, Recipes, and More. She says the Fritos chili pie was served up as early as 1949 at a Dallas place.
Dallas Place.
What is that? Dietetic. Dietetic?
Oh, the Dallas Dietetic Association.
What is that?
I guess it's where they sit down, they talk about food, diet stuff.
Dietetic.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. After they all ate Fritos, it became the Dallas Diabetic Association.
That was strong. I do like that. I'll give you that.
But yeah, so New Mexico's saying that it was theirs, but it's not. It's Texas.
And there's a good chance it was just started by the Frito marketing department. I bet it existed, but then the Frito marketing department is like, we got to get on board because they're putting recipes and stuff on the back of their, even the bag that says Fritos chili pie.
I choose to think that it was actually the Fritos marketing department that invented this because they did do a lot with recipes. His mom did a lot with that.
Yeah.
I can tell you this, it didn't come from New Mexico. Those guys think they invented everything.
They do.
They do. They're always,
what else?
They say they invented Mexico. It's in the name. It's in the name, guys. You're New Mexico.
You were second.
You're obviously you're not You didn't start Mexico.
They refer to it as Old Mexico.
Yeah. No,
not cool.
Not cool at all.
Hey, I got to jump in, Timmy.
Yeah, please.
Anthony Bourdain. This is interesting.
Yeah.
You got this?
I do.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No.
I thought you were off.
No,
of it.
you say it.
Yeah.
It literally. All I know
I
is
can't
that
believe
he
I'm
hated,
saying this, but you haven't said enough this episode.
he hated it.
Gosh.
All I know is that he hated it.
He hated it, but then he went
Fritos.
back.
Frito pie.
Frito pie.
Yeah.
He went on record that he hated it, and then he went on record after it, and he actually retracted and was like, okay, it's actually not that bad.
Really?
One of the few, that's what I got. That one of the few times, I'm not saying the only time, that Bourdain was off something and then was on something. That's what I got. What do you got with it? See where we collide.
Literally just Anthony Bourdain hated Frito pie. So
Okay.
I didn't know he came back around.
He definitely did because I saw a video of it. So.
No, it's great.
Oh, you saw? What did he say?
He was just basically saying, I don't know, I'm paraphrasing, but I tried again because I think it kind of blew up. Like I think he tried it before before it really went into outer space, and then he's like, it wasn't that.
No,
bad,
it went into outer space way before him.
Oh, okay. So he just he simply had a change of heart.
It wasn't it got popular with
Texas high school football games.
Yeah.
Can you think of a better tailgating concession stand type thing? You just get little bags of Fritos, a big thing of chili, and you're just boom.
Yeah.
Walking tacos
man.
all around. I've never had one. I'll be honest
Texas
with you.
high school football is huge. I remember when I first moved down there, I was like, what is that? What is that, a pro stadium? They're like, no, that's the high school stadium.
Yeah.
There's
There's only 9 movies about it.
By the way, it's the third time we referenced Texas today in big. It was the fair, biggest fair.
Yeah.
And then it was just Texas football. And then we just said something 15 minutes ago about Texas and having a 2-week run.
Yeah.
I just can't
Oh,
remember.
the rodeo, the Houston
It's
Livestock.
just like they stand by behind their slogan, like everything Texas is. Big.
Yes.
At
Yeah,
first,
yeah.
I just thought they were running their mouth. But yeah, you're not. You're just a state like everybody else. Don't get cocky. And I'm like, you know what? They're a little cocky, but they stand.
Well, the
behind
state
their cockiness.
It
itself
is bigger.
is huge. I mean,
Sure,
second
sure.
biggest.
Big state.
Yeah,
Second,
to
man.
Alaska.
Yeah, Alaska gets first place.
Alaska's
Yeah.
bigger, but it's giant, and they don't really consider themselves part of the rest of the country. Like they would just go ahead and secede.
Secede, right?
Like, yeah. And I kind of got into. I loved Texas. It was where I got out of college, and the company I worked for, Procter and Gamble, I was like, please send me to St. Louis or Kansas City because that's where all my friends from college are. And they're like, you're going to Houston. I'm like, no. And then I'm so glad that I did something different and moved to another part of the country. I love Texas so much, man. The food is great. There's the people are awesome, and man, but it's really funny. Like the commercials. My friend Nelson, I think it was Nelson Patterson, pointed this out to me one time. He worked for Procter and Gamble too. But when they have the commercials, the national commercials, they kind of Texas them up a little bit. Like they'll be like big Ford trucks, and then some guy will get, in Texas.
yeah.
Come here, come get your big Ford truck in Texas. Texas Ford trucks, Texas.
The Frito pie works, Sean, because a Frito retains its crispiness even if it is chock full of grease. True Texas chili, by the way, has no beans, just meat.
That's interesting.
Okay.
Yeah.
True Texas chili has no
Yeah.
beans. Okay.
I want Texas chili.
Yeah.
Greg and I had a true Texas like barbecue this weekend.
Oh,
and
God,
it was,
that
by the way, like the
In
best.
Washington?
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, it's like a just sleeper.
And
Like, just
they had a giant Texas flag. It was
Willie Nelson's there. Everyone's having fun.
There was
was
a
there?
giant picture of
Not
Willie
really,
Nelson.
just a
He
picture.
wasn't there, but there was a big picture of Willie. Giant picture of Willie. Yeah.
Really?
That place was awesome.
Jack's in Tacoma.
Jack's barbecue and steak. And this is why Sean because Sean likes barbecue, but not as much as I do. But he loves steak, so he just got a steak both times.
I went 2 for 2, which is rare. I like to mix it up. And I'm like, dude, let's do an encore. This was that good.
We went twice.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Well, anyway, so what I was getting at, they had, was one of the sides was,
Chili.
yeah.
They had chili. Oh, the
No,
beans.
remember, and you're like, that's a Texas style.
Ranch style beans.
Ranch style beans. I thought I was getting like green beans.
Yeah.
Way off. I
Yeah,
was
it's
way
like
off
it's
on that.
pinto beans, but they're not like baked beans are sort of thick and there's a lot of sugar in baked beans.
Yeah.
But Texas ranch beans, it's just pinto beans, like in a broth almost. It's so good
That's what I like.
with some onions. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it, man. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I'm sorry I missed it.
Yeah, I wish you would have gone.
I'm eating a lot of Fritos.
I think you would have handled yourself a little better at the airport.
Absolutely.
You know, last thing, I'm not going to get in that. I just want to say, though, for record, what a good weekend Greg and I had. It was, like I said, I'm not kidding.
It
Negative.
sounds like
I'm
it.
being positive. We got to go to Seattle. We got to hang around the Pike Place. People are chucking fish.
Yeah, we took it. We
Oh,
went
you went over there?
Did the fish
Yeah, we
thing. Seattle is just beautiful.
It is
I
beautiful,
mean,
man.
It's just like, it was great. Greg, we rented a Jeep. We had a Jeep Wrangler that
Yeah.
Greg and I didn't know how to drive, which is hilarious.
Yeah.
I was up there about a year ago for Nikki's special. Also, extremely warm audience on that special too. If you haven't seen it on HBO, really warm audience.
Tim was
Yeah.
the warm up guy.
I was on that. I forget. Yeah, I was on that one too. It's
Yeah,
great.
you were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's amazing over there. Did you go to the Starbucks thing? I know
We
went
tried.
over
There was a
this.
line. There's
Yeah.
I'm like, all right.
Right.
Again-
because as Greg would say, it's the third Starbucks.
Again, it's some guy came up to us. Some guy said the same thing. He was totally on my side.
He was, Tim.
Yeah.
Your
The
theory
Seattle
is
guy's like,
squashed.
Did you go to the Starbucks? I'm like, no, we went by. He goes, yeah, because you're just going by an arbitrary Starbucks. It's not the first Starbucks. It's like the third or something.
And Tim, it was also confirmed to me when he wasn't around, man. Unfortunately.
But remember,
I
the other
knew our-
Starbucks were like they were just making ground coffee. That one's the first retail one.
Well, they weren't just making
Yeah.
ground coffee. They were more ground coffee focused. But yeah, it's just another Starbucks.
It's awesome though.
Yeah.
It had like, I got my picture. We'll put that up.
It had the old school
picture
logo.
taken by the
Yes.
old logo. That was
Yeah.
cool. So we got that.
It's great.
And it looked kind of cool in there. But I've been in that one, and Sean was like, maybe we should wait in line. I'm like, dude, I can tell you what's going on in there. It's Starbucks. Like they are serving the
Yeah.
exact
like
like it's
moving coffee.
yeah. It's
Yeah,
you know. So it was a giant line.
But that area is awesome. The water, those restaurants, great.
Here's my thing, man. Okay, and you got me into this, but we did have a great weekend.
We did.
Okay, but we get to the airport. Okay, and I this one, I'm sorry on that one. I was being as cool as I could. I was trying to help you. I was trying to be patient. I patted you on the back. I'm like, we're gonna get this.
Yeah.
You were willing to throw away the whole weekend and all of it. At one point, you said, well, then just don't. I don't want to be on the road with you anymore. I don't want to be on the road. I'm like, we just had an awesome weekend. And you're screaming, then just fire me because this is who I am. This is who I am. This is who I am. And I was like, he's willing to throw it all out because he was a little uncomfortable in line at the
Can we just
Southwest
have a
Airlines.
moment about it's like you're taking it so like it was we were in for a long day. We have long flights. I got to stand in a crazy long line. I got no sleep the night before. It was just like, I didn't direct anything at him. I was just saying I did it, man. And I'm sorry.
Just fire me.
I'm very sorry.
There's
if you were
I swear, if you would have just come up at any point during the rest of the day and be like, sorry, I flipped out. That's what Randy would have done. Randy
already got his head. No,
Randy almost ruined our podcast. There wasn't going to be a consumers anymore because Randy screwed up.
Nate called me, man, and he was like,
Nate was fired up.
Let me talk to Randy.
He didn't call you, but he was on Waze talking to you.
Yeah.
He's like, make a left up
He's
here.
like, make a
Randy
left.
almost brought down the consumers.
Why would Nate call you when he's just sitting right here next to me?
Yeah,
look at Randy making a good point.
That's how I knew it was serious.
Yeah, if you guys are you're new to the podcast, Nate, he comes in every week and helps out, but he just doesn't want to be on mic.
Yeah, he's quiet.
Behind
or
the
on
scenes.
camera. Yeah,
and he doesn't do the distribution part. To be clear, Randy messed that
that's
up.
Randy. Yeah, that was not
But
Nate.
the technical things in here, it's very Nate. He straightens the shelves and stuff before we start.
Yeah.
He was fired up on Tuesday.
He does
Randy.
it mostly because, like, at the end of the night, we'll give Nate all the rest of these Fritos. Yeah, he gets to keep them.
Yeah.
Randy doesn't want them because they're not store brand.
Yeah, that's
Fritos.
what he likes. But Nate takes. Yeah.
Well, maybe if you paid Randy more, Greg, maybe we wouldn't have this problem. He could afford to get high end stuff,
Season
right?
2.
Is that the problem?
That's not on us. It's on the listeners.
I'm kidding, man.
If we
kidding.
get a ton more. No, Randy, he's doing pretty good, right?
We should start a donation. for
No,
Randy.
we're not going to start a donation for anything.
Yeah, I'm doing good, man.
You
I'm doing
say
real
this,
good.
and we're going to get donations. You know,
Well,
I don't want
just
donations.
subscribe to the podcast.
That would be great.
Get those.
That's all we want is you guys to listen. We don't want anything.
Randy.
Yeah.
He's got to feed.
If you come to a
Animals.
show, if Sean still works with me, which is on the table at this point, buy a T-shirt from Sean. That's how you can support the podcast.
Greg and I are in Cincinnati this weekend.
Yeah.
Good. Have fun, man. Don't flip out, Tim.
can
Be on your best behavior.
He never flips out.
Just you obey.
I'm cool.
You obey. He wants an obedient worker. That's what you are.
Vote Convy.
Yeah.
Can I sell salmon shirts in Cincinnati this weekend? I'll cut you in.
Yeah. Go ahead, man.
Okay.
I'm not,
Come see us, Liberty Funny Bone. I'll be selling salmon
This
shirts.
is an interesting. Why can't you just sell your own shirts?
Well, I'll bring those too.
I know
but
you have a great shirt, by the way.
It doesn't
Tim.
sell like Sean's. I know I love my shirt, but it's
Well, it's partially Greg. Greg really gives me a huge assist on pushing it.
yeah.
He basically is like, this guy's poor. He
But
lives
you'll
under
throw
a
that
bridge.
whole thing away, won't you?
What do you? Oh yeah,
I'll bring a few.
He's still back on the airport.
I'll get a few salmons from you to sell.
You have a good shirt though, man.
Well, thanks.
I'm just like I don't understand.
Yeah, but this
Why?
is the people.
Solid 7.
What,
Fine.
Tim's?
I'm kidding.
Greg used to have a great T-shirt, man. Greg had, I think, one of the best shirts ever.
Wait, which one?
Greg did the 1-star people joke, and then it was 4
yeah.
stars with only 1 highlighted. I'm like, if that isn't perfection,
That thing.
perfection.
That set records over at the Josh Need T-shirt company. I sold a
believe
ton
it.
of those.
Oh man,
Yeah.
Problem is, like, and then I started selling the tanks for the girls,
Mm-hmm.
and all the waitresses wanted them, and they're like, I want to buy a shirt. I'm like, I can't charge waitresses for T-shirts,
Yep.
and then they were getting one for their sister. So I was giving away 20 T-shirts a week,
Mm-hmm.
and got a little crazy.
You got to.
Luckily, you're rich,
And
so it's not a big deal.
I'm not. I'm not. I'm gonna get there though.
You hear that?
I might. I don't know.
I have faith in you. I mean, and if this stuff doesn't work out, get into the food game. I mean, some of the things you're coming up
What
with.
I'm creating with that KitKat
Yeah, I know,
peanut butter
man.
thing.
I'll make it. We'll get Randy paid in no time.
Yeah, well, let's see if Randy can get this episode out. Let's.
Poor guy, man. Randy does
No one
such
ever
a great
hears it.
job, and he's going to hear about this for the next 4.5
So
years.
funny. If Nate wasn't so mad, I don't think we would have taken it. But he was.
Yeah, Nate was
Yeah, he
fired
did
up.
fly
I heard
up.
it on Waze, man.
Yeah.
That's all he talked
I
about.
was like, I got them with my kids.
We put him on Waze for a minute in Seattle. It was
Yeah,
funny,
yeah.
man.
Did you really?
Yeah, I was like, let's tune in and see what he's got.
Yeah.
He's like,
He's something's like, well, why do people say hang a left? What is who said hang? He's like kind of running bits. It's great. It's
Really?
screwing around. Yeah. Yeah, right's an easy turn or
Speaking
something.
of
I don't know.
hang-
He had a couple.
We may have to hang Randy for messing up that.
Oh,
consumer.
my
Yeah,
gosh, man.
He said it all, man. Yeah. Yeah. Nate usually didn't get that fired up.
make a right. Randy is rarely right. He hates you, man.
That
It's
was not.
tough.
That was not a very
yeah.
good Nate
I
impression.
don't. I have too much respect for him to do a good impression. I could if I wanted to.
What are you talking about, man? You do the best character that's ever been done on this episode.
I do. Yeah.
Yeah, and we haven't heard him wade in.
Yeah.
He has not weighed in since I think episode 1 or 2. What do you?
Yeah.
You don't.
75 episodes.
You don't
You don't
remember?
remember?
The character
Guys,
that you do?
It's the best character that anybody's
Tim
done.
does.
Come
Yes.
on. Because it feels like
I'm
another
so-
person. Sean thinks of it
Yeah,
more
he,
as a
he
guest.
thought somebody else was
Yeah.
in here.
He
Yeah,
thinks
Maybe
of it
that's
more
it.
as a
Yeah.
guest.
Hidden trick.
You don't remember?
Yeah.
I really don't.
You
guys.
don't remember Venezuelan Tim?
I think it was Honduran.
No,
Was
it's
it Venezuelan?
Venezuelan.
Okay.
It's
Was that on the Duncan episode?
Yeah, it was Venezuelan Tim. It was.
I don't remember what
Yeah,
you said.
I mean, and we're gonna bring him back. Probably there's gonna be a Venezuelan Tim episode. Actually,
Yeah, I think there's. Well, he's got a spin-off podcast.
Actually, Tim, you do a
What?
on the Nate. Yeah, Nate and I have been talking.
Nate's gonna
Uh,
give Venezuelan Tim a podcast.
I didn't see it coming either, but Nate
What?
is a visionary, right?
Yeah.
And when he sees something that he likes, he invests in it.
Venezuelan.
Randy
Tim.
will not be a part of it, but
What's it gonna be called?
the Venezuelan Tim show.
Okay, I
Yeah.
like it. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
gotta,
keep
it's
it
gotta-
simple,
yeah, it's
but to the
good.
point.
Yeah, I don't want to announce my sidekick yet, but it's coming. Yeah, I'm excited.
Tim,
It's
you
not-
actually do a good impression of me. You've actually had one.
people
it-
love my Sean.
It's pretty
O'Brien,
like
Sean O'Brien.
amped up. There is like some hilarity
Yeah.
to it.
Oh, it's amped up.
Yeah. Yeah. Nobody does a heightened impression of Sean.
Yeah, that would
You're
be
right. I guess that was a little.
That would be
Tip of the
a
cap.
really good character, Deadpan Sean.
They're like, we can't. We've never. That doesn't exist. That's never lived. We know. So.
I did one of those wild card comedy shows where it's like, and now you have to tell a joke like this, and it's a fun
Stand
thing
on
to
your
do.
head or-
Look,
yeah.
yeah. And
We're gonna,
so it was like,
hey, we're gonna hit you in the head with a baseball bat while you tell a joke.
yeah.
What if we just did stand up comedy? How about that? How about that?
It's bringing people out on a Wednesday night at the comedy club.
yeah.
I didn't invent it. It's a good time. I
It's like,
stand by it.
It's like saying, hey, why don't we just tell jokes? Why
There
don't we
was
do
one
that?
man.
I know
like,
what you're saying.
These wild card things, exactly what you're. And the one, it was like not in St. Louis, and it was like tell a joke with your fingers in your mouth. That is the dumbest thing
Yeah.
I have ever heard. Like,
Let's do
you
that.
put no
Yeah.
thought into it. Why don't we
That's
just
a
do a
great
fish
idea.
hook? Hey, man, tell a joke.
This is fantastic. Or we could just go to a
man.
stand-up comedy show because there's nothing wrong with the art form.
Greg is right.
Makes it
I'm with Greg.
Yeah. All right,
But
we're
I
gonna,
bring it
we're
up-
gonna
I-
hit Tim in the head with a wiffle bat, and then he's gonna tell a joke.
The audience had to pick. I had to tell one of my jokes as a famous comedian, and the audience picked Bill Burr.
Yeah.
So I just did my Sean O'Brien and passed it off.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
it works.
Yeah.
I don't do a Burr.
Bill was one of my top 5 favorites
Yeah.
of all time.
Yeah, he's your.
But I like
he's
Bill.
your favorite comedian, right?
Yeah. Now it's just, I would say Burr. I was a big Bill Burr fan before I got into stand up and before Bill Burr was who he is today.
Yeah.
Like I remember I'd go to clubs to see him just do like a weekend in Columbus in front of, not like sold out crowd, like just whatever crowds. And he's just, and I
You got to meet him too, didn't you?
yeah, man. We hung out and he was as nice as can be. And then he came to St. Louis. I got to open for him. I'm like, this is insane.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, be cool, be cool. Of course, I'm not being cool. I'm like asking him questions. I'm hosting, and he was cool, man. He took me to the Rams game, and
Man,
Oh,
I got to
really?
spend the whole day with him, man.
I'm
Yeah, he
sorry.
was awesome.
I got to
Great.
bring this up. When I was just got out of high school and I was selling chips down in Houston, I wrestled in college. So
Did you know that?
I took a job, not a job, but I just volunteered coaching one of the local high schools. And I had some great wrestlers, and I wasn't the head coach. Steve Lease was the head coach, but I just helped out. And I had two notable guys. One of them was Clay Hackerman, and the other one was Jason Creech. Clay was a state champ, and Clay is now a surgeon in Seattle. And just he went on to Stanford, wrestled at Stanford. Great dude. So he came to the show, and he hung out with me and Sean afterwards. And it's cool to see a kid that I coach. Just, I mean, he's killing it. He's a big time surgeon, and he's got a family now. And so we're talking, and I was just wanting to catch up. And I mean, within 30 seconds, I got this thing on my stomach. Can you tell me what? And they just peppered him with all the medical, like just asking him to die. I mean, he basically had 4 doctor's appointments in a span of 30 minutes.
Great.
So poor Clay's like, what? Well, then Clay's a really nice guy. He's just explaining it all to him.
Greg, it's a little unclear what you're saying. I had a hernia. This guy is a hernia surgeon. This guy basically he does what I had done. And he was great. He answered my questions. You understand, too, they're talking like wrestling. Like, I have no place in this conversation. And I wasn't being rude. I didn't interrupt. But, I talked to him about his job, and he loved it.
You steered it to your condition. You asked some questions about. You asked
I think
some
that's
questions.
all right.
You were trying to get diagnosis.
Why would I not do that? I had a hernia.
He's not working.
Yeah, he wasn't wrestling either. You're talking wrestling.
But he enjoyed that.
He's not wrestling.
Thanks. I thought I'd get a better laugh on that. But
I did the same thing in Columbus. My friend's sister is a dermatologist, and I had her look at it. I was like, this thing has been itching for 6 months. So I did the same thing. Courtney Landrum, our friend who I work with, who does the Courtney show, doesn't go to the doctor. She just goes to a lot of parties and hopes to run into different medical. That's her thing. Like, if she has something, she's like, I'm going to need to socialize this weekend.
That's amazing.
See if I can run into somebody. That's her policy.
Anyone got anything going on?
Yeah. You can do it.
Tim, you want to get to the comments?
Yep, we got some comments. You guys can comment on the YouTube page. You can comment on the Consumers Podcast fan page over on Facebook. We appreciate it. Melanie Hughes said, sigh, the table has been the repeated target of my scorn, but I'm a big fan of Randy's contributions to the pod. Since that apparently includes the table, I'll henceforth think of it fondly as, say, a private label version of a table.
I love it.
Way to go, Melanie.
How about Randy?
Way to go, Melanie.
Melanie thinking of Randy.
So no more disparaging remarks about the table. I'll save those for the 3 guys sitting around it. That's us.
Can I weigh in on something real quick?
Please.
Coming around on the honey barbecue Fritos.
Amazing,
twist.
man.
Coming around on them.
Give me a couple more.
Number one.
I got to do comments. I'll get
Yeah,
that.
do comments.
You read.
I mean, this is apt for this episode as well. Scott Campbell, 2322, said, you guys got to get an inward-facing dash cam so that the next time Greg and Sean are in different universes, you can save the last several minutes of the footage and share it with the world. Because you guys got into the whole gas.
Oh, the
last-
gas thing. Yeah.
Yeah, we got a lot of people, and I'm sure you're going to get to this, but a lot of people sort of like, there must have been 10 comments where it's like, oh, guys, there's an arrow.
Yeah, which we talked about.
Yeah, we did. But they were like, there's an arrow. There's an arrow next to the gas gauge that tells you which side it's on.
I know, man. It was just, again, it's contact. It's like the day I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
We're pulling up. I just pull in. Yeah. I look, we addressed this. I screwed up. I'll take the abuse.
Okay.
Moving forward.
And then more Randy. Keith Buckley, not the lead singer of Every Time I Die, but another Keith Buckley said, anyone else want Randy?
Jeff Buckley was a lead singer of somebody too, wasn't he?
Well, Jeff Buckley was a solo artist.
Yeah.
Son of
Hallelujah.
Tim Buckley, who was another. Yeah, he didn't write it, but he
Did
did
Jeff
it very
Buckley,
famous
is he the
rendition.
blind guy?
No, that's
That's the guy from Roadhouse.
Roadhouse. I
Yeah.
thought that was Jeff Buckley.
what's that guy's name? What's his name?
Jeff Buckley.
No, what is his name? No, it's not.
It's not Jeff Buckley.
That isn't that the guy that sings Angel Eyes? What's his name?
Angel Eyes. Yeah, Jeff Buckley.
No, it isn't. What is his
Is it
name?
Ray?
Hang on.
How do you talk to an angel? Ray
No.
something?
Jeff
Healy.
Healy?
Ah,
Yeah.
Oh, Jeff Healy. Yep.
This is, man, my favorite thing about Roadhouse is Healy. At one point, he goes, I started doing comedy basically, well, in Houston, but then I quickly moved to Cincinnati, and the club that put me up most of the time was Dayton, and you met Lisa, who owned Jokers, and it had some rough crowds, man. It was an awesome club, but every now and it just had some rough crowds, especially on a Friday night. And I was, you know how when you're starting comedy and you're eating it every other time or whatever, and you're just like, oh God. And Jeff Healy goes, to Dalton, to Swayze's character. He goes, "This is worse than that place we played in Dayton." I was like, "Yeah,
I've been there, Healy.
Roadhouse, without question, is the funniest movie in the world that's not a comedy.
Yeah.
Not a comedy. And I laugh so hard. The heel goes in there in that guy Red shop, and he like knocks all his, he owns like a hardware store, right?
Yeah.
So the bad guy goes in, takes baseball bats to everything.
Ben
Not,
something."
yeah, right. So he's
Garant.
So-
something Ara. Gazzara.
Yeah,
Gazzara.
Ben Gazzara.
Yeah.
he knocks this guy's shop off, and then he just destroys his shop, and then goes to the register. He goes, "I need 10% of your profits." I'm like, "You just knocked it all on the ground, man. You would get so much more if you didn't knock this stuff over."
Great.
Of
Great
course, you
scenes.
can't give you 10% of the oil. It's on the ground. Oh, it makes me laugh.
Good point,
hard.
Sean.
Makes me laugh so
Good
hard.
point.
The Buick scene. I don't know if you remember that. I like that. Did you see the new one? Did you see the new Roadhouse?
Yeah,
No,
yeah, I
haven't
saw
seen
it.
it.
Yeah.
It was
With,
fun. It was
Gyllenhaal.
fun.
Yeah, my buddy from here edited it.
Oh, really?
Old Doc
Oh,
Brown
nice,
story. Yeah,
man.
he was the editor.
It was fun. Just the first one was so good because it's so.
I
bright.
loved it.
Different vibe. But
Movie
I
changed my life.
I did like it.
That and Walk to Remember.
So Keith Buckley
Left
said, I'll walk to remember. We still haven't gotten to the bottom of it.
We'll figure it out, man.
Keith Buckley said, anyone want Randy to get an episode of his own? Dude sounds fascinating. Any guy willing to have a hardware store tap the threads on a handle instead of buying a new one is okay in my book.
Randy,
Love it, Randy. You went in, Bubba?
pretty good.
Randy, you
you're,
me?
you're becoming more and more popular on this podcast, man.
I'm good. I like being behind the scenes, man. Yeah, I like behind the scenes. Thank you, though. I appreciate it very much. Thank you.
Just to be clear, Randy is a stand-up comedian and also a musician who plays on the stage.
Yeah, but I see what he's saying though, man. Like when you're not like he's off camera, he jumps in maybe 2% of the show. It's like sometimes I can feel like, man, my place just feels a little out of touch. I'm not like a part of this trio in a way.
You should go with that.
What? I don't
The point is, Randy's popular.
I don't know. I literally don't know what Greg's talking
I was
about.
taking a shot at you, man.
Oh, my hat?
No,
No.
nothing to do with your hat, baby.
No.
I was saying
You're just making fun of me for something.
you said what my place.
I don't know.
Yeah. No, he doesn't even know what you're laughing
Basically, you said something to the effect of like, I feel like I shouldn't say anything, and I was like, you should go with that.
Oh, okay. I see. So like I shouldn't. Hey, guy, you know what? Tell you what, I'm gonna call right now. Next episode, I'll just shut it down.
No.
I'll just sit here and just nod.
Nobody
No.
wants
No,
that.
blew it. You guys
See,
blew
this is
it.
the problem.
You blew it.
He was a little bit of a bully, which he shouldn't have been, and then you took it way too far. And now here we are. You're not coming in next week.
A little
This is
bit
what
of a
happens.
bully. I was
I
joking.
gotta watch
I
it
made a
happens.
joke. I can't make a joke. A silly joke. Everybody knows.
Here we
Oh,
go.
I love
Yeah.
it. Oh, I just didn't get it now, but I love it. And
Yeah.
I came in with a good attitude. I said I had a great weekend with Greg.
Now I'm the bad guy. They turned it around on me, Randy.
Yeah.
And you're just gonna sit there. hit the
Read away,
buttons.
Tim. Read away. Let's keep pumping these comments out.
Right. These two I enjoy. Bob Culver, 6786 said we did Domino's last week. He said it was nice of the guys to use old Domino's crust to make their table.
Yeah.
Ouch.
Did you get the one about, basically, there was a joke. Do you have something in there about Randy's episode coming out late?
No.
Somebody left a comment, and it basically because Randy didn't get it up, so it came out about 8 hours late, and somebody said something like "Leave it to Domino's to be late" or something.
Oh,
It was
that's
really good.
amazing.
Yeah, that's really good.
I
man.
missed that.
Yeah, that was a good one, man.
That is, yeah, it was on brand. Good job, Randy.
Yeah.
We were talking about stealing on the last episode. What I forget how you're not supposed to stop people from a lot of retail. They don't stop people from stealing.
Yeah,
So
Yeah.
Stephanie Behringer shared, I worked at Whole Foods for 3 years, and the store policy at the time was that we could not stop people from stealing. The most we could do was offer the customer a cart or a handbasket if we saw them try to conceal merchandise. Just so passive aggressive, and you're stealing something. You go, hey, can I get you a cart? It's awesome.
I mean, that's insane.
Yeah.
No, it's not, because it gives that person an opportunity to be like, oh yeah, sure. I guess I don't need to put it in my pockets or under my shirt. And it keeps that person
a little
out.
maybe
It's-
reverse psychology there. Is that what you're talking about?
No, it just says, hey, I know what you're doing, but you're also playing dumb. So it avoids a full confrontation, but it's a way to maybe stop that person to discourage them from that behavior. Make sense?
You got it now?
Yeah. No, I got it. I got it,
Okay.
man.
Diane Gallagher, who is a friend. who we
Diane
know.
had a great podcast
Oh, I love
for a while
Diane.
where they broke down sound lyrics. I believe all of
They
us.
not do it anymore?
Nah, they
No.
stopped.
Rock the Cash
Yeah, that
Bar?
was fun, man.
Rock
I
the
talked
Cash Bar.
Coldplay with Diane.
Oh,
Rock the
yeah.
Cash Bar. It was great.
We
Yeah.
talked about
Yeah.
Rupert Holmes.
Yeah, she's awesome.
So her husband Corbin worked at Domino's. He sent pictures of the 1985 Triton A2. It was a concept delivery vehicle designed for Domino's that was supposed to convey a jet fighter for speedy delivery. Even had a warming oven behind the single seat. Only 10 were made, and they rarely come up for auction. I've tried twice to buy one, but always outbid. It looks like a jet that just cruises around, and in full Domino's colors and logos. It's
She sent me a
awesome.
picture of it. It's the coolest thing. I mean, it would be so awesome to have this thing.
I saw it. Yeah.
It looks like kind of part jet, part spaceship. Like
yeah.
part
part jet,
you
part
know,
Tesla. I don't know.
whatever
Instead
Luke Skywalker. What did he drive?
of, Air Force One.
No. What's that?
X-Wing fighter.
X-wing
X-Wing.
fighter. X-wing fighter.
I thought
Thanks.
you guys would make fun of me in the Air Force One. I set you up there to smash me. Never mind.
Here, we need to be clear about this. You don't need to try to say dumb things to make us laugh. Just say things, and they will probably be dumb.
That was intentional, though. I said Air Force One and thinking,
Yeah.
what?
We're telling you, you don't have to do that.
Understood.
Yeah.
Two more things I'll share. Number one, Sean, you have some explaining to do. I was shocked to see this.
Oh, boy.
Somebody shared this. Creed Aventus, your big cologne that you love so much, came up on Costco's 12 days of deals.
Dude, I
You were talking about this like
Okay.
it is an investment. You've given it as gifts. You've told me that
Yeah.
the one that you gave my son is going to be
gonna be worth-
You're
put him through college
giving
someday.
20
kids-
years will be worth about $2,500
I-
at least.
To your defense, I
That's
saw
more.
the place in Vegas. I'm like, this is the highest end stuff. And then it's
you went to the Vegas?
not only is it on for sale at
Yeah.
Costco, but it's on sale. It's part of their 12 days of deals.
Yeah.
Explain.
Here's the problem. I am not with Costco. I don't know. I know it's on sale, I think, for $299, where it's normally retails $5.50.
I picked up a bottle at Aldi the other day.
Taking shots. I can't explain that. I don't know. I don't know if they call that a loss leader. Maybe Greg would, but I mean, if that's assuming, I can't imagine it's a fake, because there's a zillion fakes of it out there. But obviously, Costco's not going to.
Are you
You know, they're
surprised
legit.
that Costco carries it?
I'm baffled, and I'm baffled at the price. Which now I have to talk with Heather and be like, "Hey, we might have to fire Sam's." I told her. I saw her. I was like, "Listen, I might have to fire Sam's because we're Sam's Club's people, just because it's closer."
Oh, so this
I have
is
no-
appealing to you.
Appealing. I mean, if that's legit, I mean, I have a week to act. I mean, I'll max buy, and I think there's a max buy of 5 bottles, and I'll buy all 5.
I would think it would make
Unbelievable.
you abandon the cologne.
Yeah.
Why would I abandon it?
Because if it's at Costco, I don't know. I wouldn't want the fragrance
I
I'm known
assure you,
for.
this is a no. That is very high. No, Sam's they'll do that every once in a while. They'll get like a high end. It's rare, so I appreciate that. I think her name was Amy. Put that
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, I think you're right.
and good cat,
Did you
good
check,
luck.
dollar store, see if they have it?
No, I haven't. I'll do that on the way home. That's good.
I know, man. He hates it.
And finally, Mark Calloway. This is an Apple review, which please review us on Apple Podcasts.
You know what?
Leave
I
for
don't think we've
comments.
ever asked, have we?
Yeah, we have.
But we haven't asked. Like most podcasts, are like remember to rate, and like I get annoyed with that, and I think it people get sick of hearing it.
Oh,
We'll do it every now and then. It helps if you guys would leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or comment on YouTube. It really helps us, get more visible, and people think we're better. And I don't know.
we can pay.
If you don't
pay
feel like
Randy.
it, don't do it. We're just happy you listen.
We are happy. I'm very grateful everyone who listens. I love it.
Mark Calloway did the right thing. He said, "Great podcast. My favorite comedian. Excessive cologne. Dumpster walks. This podcast has everything.
What was dumpster walks?
You
What was
put a
that?
walk in the dumpster.
Oh yeah, dumpster walks.
Walks.
Walk.
Man, I'm
No.
having more problems
Walk.
with the new
Walk.
walk.
Thank you. I brought this up 3 episodes ago. I was like, he's saying walk. I'm saying walk. I'm just saying the
Walk.
same word as literally walking.
Yeah, but
walk.
he said it.
Walk and walk.
Walk.
Take a walk.
Waka flocka. Walk. 2 different things.
Yeah.
So you're saying whack. He's saying he's saying it
He says-
phonetically.
Yeah.
Walk.
Yeah.
Okay. That's all right. I appreciate that guy's comment.
Strong. I do too. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you,
thanks
Mark.
to all
Mark
of you
Calloway.
for
Thank you,
listening.
Randy.
Thank you for making the golf
Thank you,
balls.
Sean. Thank you, Tim. This has been The Consumers. Now listen.
It's a Landis Morissette song.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Randy.
Thank you.
Tim.
Yeah, who else is
Thank
she thanking
you.
that?
Thank you,
Nate
Andy.
Bargatze.
Yeah. Thank you, Nate. Nate's Christmas special is coming out soon. Actually, you know what? Before I close it, we need to plug. Tim and I are going to be at the Liberty Funny Bone. That is Cincinnati adjacent. It's just a little north of Cincinnati. It's a beautiful club. Tim and I will both be there this weekend. And we would love to see you guys come out. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Friday and Saturday, and then kids show on
Kids
Sunday.
show on Sunday. We're getting
Cincinnati
close
area.
to the holidays.
Mhm.
Ticket sales look strong.
Mhm.
We're going to have a ball. I used to live in Cincinnati. Got some surprise guests coming out, some friends.
I've never done comedy in Cincinnati before.
I don't know if he's going to be able to do it.
Oh, he can do it.
No, it's
Oh, is it
different
tough?
there.
It's
Yeah,
different?
it's different. Yeah, it's
Ah.
a different audience. Yeah.
What do
Yeah.
I need to know?
Yeah, I don't know, man. This is,
All right, we should talk.
you need to get up there early and do some open mics.
Okay.
Yeah, do some open mics, get the feel.
Stretch my legs.
They're
a little
very
bit.
different people.
No kidding.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
not even that far.
No, man, it's a whole different world.
Things happen once you get out of
Yeah.
once you get in Ohio, man.
Yeah. This has been The Consumers. There are people out there who are going to tell you you can't charge your phone. And I'm going to tell you you can. Matter of fact, you have the right to charge your phone. And there are people who have fought for your right to charge the phone. And one of them is sitting to the right of me. You have the right to charge your phone.
Go Bills.